And we're live. What's up, guys? So today we're joined by Austen Summers,
Yo, what's up?
who is one of the few people in the pickup community who I think actually has good game, and isn't like just basically talking shit and making retarded videos. So Austin is someone I know, and a buddy of mine. He lives in Miami. I gave him my consent to move to the city, so yeah, all is well. So Austin, you want to give a quick for anyone who didn't see the first part, you want to give like maybe a 30-second summary about you?
Yeah, so I'm Austen Summers. For all intents and purposes, I'm a dating coach in Miami, and yeah, I coach boot camps, immersions, and I'm someone who started from like really bad depression, got over that with like kind of self-fulfillment stuff. I used game to kind of take that to the next level, and then I realized you could fuck really hot girls with game, and yeah, it's fun. So yeah, I still do it to this day, and I think it's the only thing that I can give. It's the number one thing that I can give the most value in my lifetime. So that's why I'm dedicating myself to it.
Wait, hang on. You're saying you can fuck hot girls with game?
That's correct, Alex.
Damn, I was only under the impression the game only worked for fat girls, so that's why I've been plowing whales for the last 5 years. Just saying hot girls. All right, interesting. Something for me to consider. Yeah, so we're not going to get into Austin's whole upbringing. So if you guys want to know like more about his story, how he got into game and all that, make sure to check out part 1 because that was a dope ass interview and we kind of really hit his, let's just say, growth story for like a solid half an hour. So check that out. So we're just going to mainly stick on a few key points and then take a lot of questions in this one. Actually, one question I wanted to ask you. So, you've been coaching for quite a while. What patterns do you see? Like, what are the most common issues you see with guys who come on programs?
So one of them is just approach anxiety, obviously. And I believe that's because game isn't really natural, at least not the approach phase of game, because everyone that you would have known in a tribe that we evolved to live, you would have known your entire life. So every woman that you would have ever slept with, you would have known from basically the time you're born. Or the time they're born, right? So the biggest thing with game is just getting over that first hurdle of approaching. And that's like my student this weekend, cool guy, rich doctor, like really strong social skills, but it's just that initial hurdle in the interaction was the biggest thing for him. So once we got over that, approach anxiety phase and he was in the interaction, he could tell the girl liked him. He liked the girl. Then it was all good. But even then, a lot of people, just because you're good in the interaction, you have a good vibe with the girl, doesn't mean you're necessarily going to sleep with the girl. Because a lot of the things that people don't realize too is that you still need to pull. And pulling, seating, leading, pulling, dealing with objections. Those are all things that are not like innate to us either.
Right.
So
how did you specifically help this guy get over his approach anxiety? Like, what were some specific things that you recommended?
Yeah, so there's 2 psychological techniques to deal with approach anxiety or any kind of anxiety, really. And one is called flooding, and that's when you just provide so much references of something to someone that their brain has no choice but to basically. So, for example, if you were afraid of spiders and I locked you in a room with spiders for like 30 minutes to an hour, you'd essentially, and if they weren't killing you, right, you'd essentially be like desensitized.
Actually, I'm really afraid of hot, big titty Latinas. So if you want to lock me in the room with them, that'll really help a lot.
Cool. If you're free this Thursday, we'll do that.
Yeah, and I'm really afraid when they're like naked. That's the worst. That scares me.
All right. And when they have a fetish for Russians.
Yes.
So the other psychological technique is called desensitization. And that's like what I do more on my online program because I have 3 months with people and I basically have them gradually take steps toward desensitizing themselves to not only approaching, but every phase of game. Because everything that's new when dealing with women, it's going to arouse some kind of like anxiety. So the more times you are in that same spot, the less anxiety you will typically have, right? And then the other thing that decreases anxiety is is the self-perception. Because let's say I have you, Alex, take a bucket of poop and you have to go sell it next door. And you're not going to feel super confident like, hey, I got this bucket of poop for $100. Meanwhile, if you had like, meanwhile, if you had $1,000 check to give to the next door neighbors, you'd be pretty confident, right? Because you're giving value to them. So a lot of guys don't understand the value that they have to give. And if you guys listening don't have that much quote unquote value to give, you can still cultivate it over time, right? At the very minimum, you can provide someone good emotions, right?
Right. I mean, that's interesting. People keep asking, so can you quickly touch on this? Where does calibration come into all this?
Dude, I wish I could. So I usually draw my mirror because I was drawing first day of the boot camp. I was drawing basically the calibration stuff, and over time, you don't even need calibration so much because you don't make shitty errors. But for beginners, if you find yourself getting like bad reactions, first of all, write a note of what's getting the bad reaction when you write your field reports, your summary of like you're going out. But the typical thing people do is they put too much intensity in the interaction and they don't know how to remove it. So a thing that would increase the intensity would be if I get in closer, I have really piercing eye contact, I say something sexual, maybe my voice gets a little bit like this, and I just say, damn, this fucking live stream is going so fucking good, baby.
Oh, jerking off.
Yeah. So things that can take that intensity away is removing the physical touch, taking a step back, leaning away, angling your body away, cracking a joke, changing the subject, things like that remove that intensity. And for certain things that you need calibration for, like especially in the US, everyone's so fucking sensitive to every political topic or any, you can bring up anything. Like, dude, the other night this was Thursday night. We're coming back from the wharf, and we see these three like Latina. Or wait, no, it was 4 Latinas. There was 3 of us, and we're talking to them. And then the one that kind of got left out, I mentioned the other ones are like, so how did you learn Spanish? And I'm like, I watched Dora the Explorer. And the Americanized Latina was like, Dora the Explorer is racist. And I like, dude, the only way to really respond to that kind of stuff for me to like raise my mood is basically, yeah, I believe the founders of that should be executed. Like you have to make it more extreme, right? Because you can't be like, oh, so how is it racist? Because then you just go down this weird.
Yeah. You never want to approach it with by being logical or factual.
Yeah, just with your mood, not your mind. That's like a very good games thing. But yeah, if you make a joke that's too far out there, say, hey, sorry, and move on. The word sorry, I think, has gotten me laid more than almost any other word.
Really?
Because when you're going and you're escalating, and you can tell the girl gets a little bit too tense up. Oh, sorry about that, blah, blah. And then you change subject, maybe, and then you return back to making out, and then you turn back to like maybe fingering her. Then maybe she gets uncomfortable. You take it away. But the thing I will say is that once you get more and more advanced, you know when the right time is to make the move. A lot of guys know the right move, but they don't know when to make the right move, right?
Right.
So that's one thing that over time you will get better at calibration. You'll know when to kind of push for certain things. But often, if you probably experienced this too, when you're really dialed in, the girl will be the one kind of like almost seducing you, taking your clothes off. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, actually,
do you bang girls on your balcony, by the way?
Do I bang them on my balcony? I have before, but there's like a lot of neighbors, so most of them aren't down for that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this is one area where you and I might differ a little bit because I don't even think the word sorry is part of my vocabulary. The only time I use it was with sarcasm, where like I'm like, you're right, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be just touching your ass like this, but like while I'm doing it. So that's like the only time I use it. But in terms of like real,
even if you don't use it verbally, you probably do something like an action of empathy. So for example, you can tell when she gets uncomfortable, which is when the girl tenses up, she moves away, she's kind of squinches, maybe she moves away. That's all signals that it's not going down or she's slightly uncomfortable. So for that, you don't just keep going. You're like, no.
Yeah. I try to catch it as early as possible. So I want to catch it before it even happens, right? Because I feel like with calibration, right? Like you have to calibrate when because there's a tipping point, right? If you're escalating very slowly and then, going very slowly, you don't just go from compliance to this, right? It's going to be a slow process as long as you're going gradually, which is how I recommend you escalate. You shouldn't go.
That would be really valuable for people to tell them the kind of different things that from like a progression standpoint. Because a lot of guys, for example, if they want to kiss the girl, they only see it as like a kiss. I think that's a big mistake in games that a lot of guys can't break things down to smaller parts. For example, a lot of guys think like the first step when approaching a girl is just like they're going to be socially anxious, they're going to be coding all day, and then they're going to go out and approach the hottest girl they see. Versus like warming up, kind of like chatting to your friends, maybe chatting to a couple people on the way. Yo, I like your dog. Yo, man, how's it going? Being social, and then from there going to approach a girl.
Yeah, I mean, I think that escalation starts way before the kiss. That's what I always say. Like, I think that escalation starts with eye contact and proximity. How close are you to the girl? And I'm sure you know this. There's a lot of things you can do to figure out how likely the girl is to kiss you before you go for the kiss. So it's really rare. It happens, but it's not often that a girl turns away when I go to kiss her, right? Because I already know, because I kind of tested the waters, because I touched her arm, I stood close to her, I got close, and I pulled away. Another thing I often do is I'll do like the fake kiss where she thinks I'm going to kiss her. I just get close, but I just don't do it. And that kind of fucks with her. She's like, wait, what? I thought he was going to kiss me. But if she pulls away, well, then I never got rejected because I didn't actually kiss her. If she doesn't, then I know she's going to be receptive to the kiss.
You could also do cheek kisses first, and then I do what you do too, but I go and I whisper in the ear. So I'll be like, yeah, so anyway, how about those? Let's get those mixed berries. Dude, my place is so fucking set up for pulling. It's amazing. I'm so
man. I mean, you pulled me to your place. I felt pretty seduced. I would have been down for anything. Yeah.
Can we start getting some questions, or do you have a list of your own questions that you're going through right now?
Yeah, I have a few, but we're going to mainly stick to the questions we're getting. There's definitely a lot that are building up. I'm going to put them on the screen. But there's two other things I want to touch on. So one of them is actually something that's very specific to me and you. How has getting a dog affected your game?
Yeah, so I think because a lot of girls, it's not that you're not getting enough attraction with them. It's that there's oftentimes not enough comfort. And one of the things that having a well taken care of dog does is they're like, damn, this guy's not a psychopath. He has a dog that's well taken care of. And another thing too, it's amazing to pull. Like I'd say having a dog is the best thing to pull for. I can't really think of anything else. Like beyond like you and the girl liking each other, if you're just using something to seed for a pull, like you can even show them the dog, like, oh yeah, here's the photo. Like once they see the photo of the dog, it's kind of almost over, you know?
Oh, so you don't take Athena on dates with you, right? She stays at home?
No, I'll take her on dates, but I'm saying specifically for like night game and pulling. Yeah, it helps so much. What else? I don't game without Rhaegar nowadays. Like every time, like night game, Rhaegar, dates, Rhaegar, day game, Rhaegar. So one thing I love doing things and having things that flip questions on its head. I'll explain what that means. So, for example, with Instagram, this doesn't work so well in America, but in Latin America, I just do Instagram ads to get girls, basically. So I'll do stories, and then girls will respond to it. So basically, for $5 pushing an Instagram ad, I'll get 80 girls messaging me.
Really? So 80 girls from an Instagram ad? Holy
yeah,
shit.
$5 to $10, depending on where you are. Chile, Colombia, like
what about in like Miami? How many girls would you get in Miami from Instagram?
It doesn't work well in the US because the ad spend, you have to spend too much. Maybe if you put in like Kendall or something like that, it could work good. Casey is actually testing that right now. But anyway, so instead of saying, how do I DM this one girl? It's like, how do I screen out the 80 girls that are messaging me for girls that I really like and girls that I can go out with and move that forward. So the thing with having a dog, it's instead of like, how do I approach this girl? It's like, how do I talk to and grab numbers of the 5 girls that are approaching me every day, you know?
Right. Yeah, you have to discern between the girls who are talking to you because of your dog or the girls who are using the dog as an excuse to talk to you. And then there's, of course, a lot of chicks who are the middle.
I don't go out with Athena anymore because it's like so many people come up and then it's like, and also sometimes I feel a little bit tacky when I have her at the wharf, you know?
Oh, I never feel that. I feel like a lot of girls call me out all the time. She's like, yeah, you're just using your dog to meet girls, aren't you? And I'm like,
yeah. No, I just know straight up if the girl's like down or not, you know?
Yeah, I just find it's like a really good icebreaker. I mean, again, like I think a criticism I hear sometimes is like, oh, you know, you need your dog. But I mean, I was getting laid all the time before I had a dog, but it does make things easier.
People make excuses for everything. It's like, well, Alex, you have blue eyes. Well, Alex, you live in Miami. Well, Alex, you have Lyme disease. So therefore, it's like,
the Lyme is what helps me get laid.
They're getting laid. I have Lyme disease, but therefore, Latinas aren't attracted.
Yeah.
People love telling themselves stories.
Tick-borne diseases. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I think that, my advice is, I do think people like, if you like dogs, like, don't just get a dog just to get laid, because then you're gonna have to do them back. But if you like dogs, get a fucking dog. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of dogs that need to be adopted. There's like a huge, like, you're doing something good for society, and you're helping yourself get laid, and you have a best friend for 15
And
years.
it's good for health because it gets you outside into sunlight, you're walking and you're socializing with people. Like, you just find yourself socializing all the time, so you don't have to like force it. That's another thing I want to talk about is people always try to use they always try to use your advice or my advice to meet girls when they live in fucking, I don't know, Casper, Wyoming or something, right? And if you live in a big city or a mid-sized city, but you live in a part of a city where you're constantly bumping into people, it makes games it's integrated into your life, right? If you have, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million girls within a 5-minute Uber of where you live, it's gonna be a lot easier to meet up, right?
100%.
It's a lot easier to meet girls. Like, dude, I'll meet girls in the elevator. It's like I take my dog for a walk in the morning, and then there's a hot girl there, or I go to the park and there's girls there. It's like it's integrated.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, you still need game. Like, I've lived in a small town back at a point where I already kind of knew game, and I still met girls, but yeah, it was a lot harder, for sure. I mean, I think that people treat, like, sometimes people will say like, yo, like, my logistics aren't good because I live with my parents, and I'll be like, yo, maybe you can save up money and move out. And they almost react to me as if I told them they should find the cure for cancer. Like, I suggested something that's unimaginable. Like, yeah, right, I'll just save up money and move out, right? Because sure, Alex. But like, it's really not that crazy. Like, I think that especially in the last year, so many jobs have become virtual, right? Like, most jobs are work from home now. And I think it's going to stay like that. Like, I don't think it's actually, because I think a lot of companies are realizing they can save on office costs. And, so I think it's going to stay that way, which is one of the good things that happened from COVID. So I do think majority of people, if they put their mind to it in a few months, can live in a city. Like, you don't have to live in a dope place. Like, when I first moved to LA, I lived in a house with 10 people. I had a tiny room because all I could afford was like $600 a month. Like, that was the extent of my budget. But like, I still think it's better to like have a bunch of roommates rather than live with your parents.
Yep. Honestly, having roommates is better for pulling. In my opinion, you have things going on, especially if they're cool, because then it kind of social proofs you as well. And also, if they have girls, like, if you bring a girl back and there's already a girl at your place, it kind of makes it feel like you're more normal, or
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah, I do.
And also, like, the thing you were talking about, that people, they think that it's a cure for cancer, like move out of their parents' house or whatever. I always tell them, it's like, how many billion people in the world have already done that? Like, I guess like 3 billion minimum. Okay, so if 3 billion people can figure it out, do you think you can figure it out? Like, yeah.
One of my closest friends, one of my best friends ever. This is like the story of his life. I've known him for like 10 years, and then like he'll like ask me, Alex, what do you think I can do to improve my game? I was like, you got to move out of your parents' house. Like, your parents are super religious. You can't have any girls there. They fucking give you religious lectures every day. Like, it's not a good environment. He's like, you're right. And then he'll move out of his parents' house for like 3 months, and then he'll find some excuse to move back in. Yeah, but like, I just realized I was spending a lot of money. My fucking God. And then it's like the same thing once every 2 years. Moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out.
I like to think of it, paying rent is your admission ticket to living a good life. It's like, to have an optimal dating life, I don't think you can be living with your parents. I mean, you could still be a savage and pull girls home, but if they're constantly yelling at you and it's an obstacle and it's an excuse and they're cock blocking you, then yeah.
Your dad comes in and steals your girl. All right, Junior, I'll take over from here. It's past his bedtime. Dad, I'm 25.
The old bull.
Yeah. Why go for the calf when you can have the bull?
Yeah.
Show you how it's done. Yeah. I think a lot of it depends on the relationship you have with your parents. Like, if you're like, but most of the stories I hear, like, the parents are cock blocking the kids. I never had that. My parents were cool. Like, they didn't care. I just didn't really want to be banging like loudly in front of my mom. Like, that always made me weird. Like, it was the reason I was hesitant. I mean, I still did, but I mostly did like after my parents were asleep. Was just purely out of my choice. But yeah, they never like cock blocked me. So So the next thing I want to ask you, actually, one of the big things is you talk about Instagram, a decent amount. So aside from doing the Instagram ads, what advice do you have people for guys who want to learn Instagram game? How should they set up their profile? How should they DM girls?
Yeah. So there's a couple things that all girls respond to. Not a couple. I'm going to make a video about this soon. I made like a basic bitch version of it where I talk about game, looks, money, and then human connection as like the keys of game. But then I think there's so many different nuanced points to that. So by understanding what women are attracted to, then you can create a profile that women will naturally become attracted to you more. So, and I think Alex and I both agree on this. If you can only get one form of contact, get a number because it's the most direct form of contact. But Instagram is so good at bridging time gaps. Like a girl I met here in South Florida, just Asian girl with epic tits. And I was like, damn, I really want this girl. And I'm like, I messaged her to meet up and she goes, oh, hey, but I'm home in Oklahoma right now. And I'm like, oh, fuck. She's like, I'll be back in like a month and a half. So just good stories, keep her like basically keeps her in the loop. And I haven't thought of a good way to phrase this, but it basically pings you into her mind, right? If you let the line go slack, if you go too far without her even thinking about you, then it's going to be tough to meet up. And that toughness grows over time, especially if you only have a number. But with Instagram, it can actually get stronger over time. Because you basically what you've done is
passive attraction and passive comfort.
Yeah, you've dropped a girl into your own dating marketing funnel, and she's going down that funnel and getting more and more attracted. And she's like, "Oh shit!" And the people in your life become like almost stories of like characters in a story that she's watching, right? It's like, "Oh, Athena, I can't wait to meet her, and I can't wait to meet your friend and Armani." And dude, I call this girl like filet mignon. Her name's like, what is her name? Philomena? Philomena. Fuck, dude. I always fuck. They like want to meet the people in your life, right? And not only that, but they also want to meet you. And there's certain characteristics that all women are attracted to. A good-looking guy, a guy who has an attractive life, a guy who has some kind of, a guy who has access to high-status men. Check. Men who have some sort of wealth. And now you don't necessarily need to have a lot of money, but if your life, you have access to things that give that kind of impression, that's just as good. Remember, our brain, we have evolved 1% in the past 10,000 years. In hunter-gatherer tribes that are nomadic, you can't accumulate tons of material resources. The thing that women care more about is your social status. And that's a lot of what game teaches is to have perceived social status. So if you're linking up with people who have access to boats, yachts, parties, cool events, what does that suggest about you? That you're wealthy? Not necessarily that you have like $1 trillion, but that your lifestyle is wealthy and that you'll be able to survive, reproduce with her, take care of her kids, take care of yourself.
Let me jump in real quick. I think the key word is resources. Girls want guys to have resources, which usually means money, but it doesn't have to always mean money. Like access to events and cool exclusive shit. That's a form of social currency, which is also a resource. There's different kinds of resources, and girls want guys who have resources. Money is just a type of resource.
Yep. And so you can kind of think of like, and also another thing is just high quality photos. I do agree. I don't know if you even make this point, but I believe the content of the photo matters more than the like digital quality of the photo.
100%, dude. 1,000%. Yeah. It's not even debatable. I think also that nowadays, when I first came up with the product, cameras like iPhone cameras were decent, but there was still like a discrepancy between a DSLR, like a noticeable discrepancy, a DSLR and like an iPhone camera. But I think that iPhone and whatever Samsung cameras have gotten so good that you can get like you're not going to get extra bonus points for using a fancy DSLR camera. You can get more or less. It's like extreme diminishing returns. Once you get above a certain quality, it's like you can difference between a $10,000 camera and a brand new iPhone. It might be a few percentage points in terms of like the value that picture brings. So
yeah,
I think
phones these days are so good, dude. Honestly, the phone is better than a lot of cameras without editing.
It's gotten so good. But what would you say
your audience 5 takeaways for like photos that they can, like styles of photos they can take. So number 1 is pre-selection, which is photos of you with a girl. So it's not like a try hard photo, like look at me with my wife, but like you're in a social environment, like a mixed group of guys and girls. And it's take it almost paparazzi style.
Right. Okay.
Then I have the adventurous type of post. So you doing something cool, snowboarding, hiking, I don't know, surfing, any kind of like adventurous things. Social proof posts. So you around high value men that you tag them. Travel, that kind of shows the dream life. And a girl, if she's thinking about like, what would my life be like if I was with this guy? And if all your life is you coding or whatever, it's not really that attractive. And it doesn't have to be all your life. You can take photos in the 5% of your life that is awesome, put that on your Instagram. And because perception is reality, that's your reality in that girl's mind. That's what she thinks your life is like. Anything clickbaity, luxury cars, cool clothes, animals, anything random or crazy. And then the 6th one I'd add to this is that it's your personality. If you can inject your humor, your talent with music, kind of like your storytelling ability, any kind of thing that is your unique selling point, you can add that in as well. And I think if you create a profile based on those things, you're going to attract not only hot girls and cool girls and be able to like meet up with them, but you're going to attract the kind of girls that you like if you're building that around your lifestyle too.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I would add is, I mean, you kind of touched on this, but I think that you need to pick, like with your Instagram specifically, you need to pick like a theme or two. So like, for example, for me, I have 2-3 themes. My first theme is travel because I travel a lot and have a lot of travel photos. Second theme is huskies because I take a lot of pictures of my dog. Third theme would be like kind of like general fuckboyish type of shenanigans because I have like a lot of those kinds of troll pictures and like troll stories and like, you know, like kind of witty captions and whatnot, right? But it's like, I think you need to pick a theme. But like, I see guys whose theme is, for example, fitness, right? Because they're really jacked. That can be a theme. I see for like promoter guys or guys who party a lot, you know, nightlife is a theme, right? But I think it's important to just kind of be like, okay, what are the things, like if I made nightlife my theme, that wouldn't make any sense because I never go to clubs. I'm never doing that. So I would have a really hard time like hammering on that theme. So I think it's just important to pick like a high value theme or two and just kind of roll with that.
Yep.
The second thing I want to go ahead.
I just said estamos de acuerdo. It's like we're in agreement.
I mean, I think you and I actually agree about like 98, 99% of shit. I don't know. What do you and I disagree about? I don't think we really. What?
Person game is superior to online game. No cap.
Person game is superior. I wouldn't say one is better than I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I think they both have their pros and cons.
I agree. And I've kept track of like where I've met girls, and I'd say like it's almost a quarter of each thing. Social circle, digital game, online game, day game, and night game. Yeah. But the biggest is night game for me.
I would say for me, if we look at, well, it depends if we look at me as overall, because I didn't actually know about online until like 2 or 3 years into the game. So my first like whatever 50, 100 lays were from cold approach. But let's say we look at me in the last 2-3 years, I would say it's like 60 to 70% online. And that's mainly Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. It's all Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Then like
Instagram, like you just DM girls on Instagram, like a voice message, and then
not really. I've played around with it. I'm gonna start doing it more. But honestly, I find that with the Instagram game, I think Instagram game is the least efficient form of game unless you're a celebrity or have like insanely good profile. Meaning like if on Tinder I have to talk to 10 girls to get a date, on Instagram I've talked to 100 girls or 1,000 girls to get a date. And simply there's no like with Tinder you have that social agreement, right? So you swipe right on her, she swiped right on you, right? With Instagram, there's none of that. You're sliding into her life. And with cold approach, you can see, like, you approach a girl, you can tell in the first 2 seconds, if she likes you or not. But also, not a lot of people are doing cold approach, right? So, but there's 100 guys sliding into her DMs every day. So cold approach, there's not 100 guys, even if she's super hot. There's not 100 guys who approach her that day. Instagram, there's 100 guys in the last hour who slid into her DMs. So I think that, and I'm not knocking Instagram game. Like, I know that You know, like for example, Mia Khalifa met the guy she's married to on Instagram. Riley Reid met her boyfriend. So it's like a lot. You can meet really fucking hot girls on Instagram. I just think that one, there's like a high barrier to entry. Like you really do need to have a solid Instagram to stand out. And two, it's like you have to run through a good amount of volume. So I have mixed feelings about Instagram.
And they're more likely to have boyfriends and yada yada.
Yeah, just more shit. I just find that I'm like too busy for that. I'm like, okay, like I can spend 2-3 hours scouting and DMing girls to get a date, maybe, or I can just walk my dog and get a bunch of phone numbers, or I can just swipe through my Tinder and get dates that way. It's just, to me, it's like I have a hard time making myself do it. Like the only reason I do it is for content, right? Honestly, so I can teach guys.
I'm gonna bring up. So I think with in-person game, and dude, it's kind of gay that we have to make these distinctions because you and I do basically every form of game. If there's a girl that's like your friend's friend and your friend doesn't want to fuck her and you meet her, you'll bang the girl from your social circle. If you're walking your dog, you'll bang a girl from night game. Or sorry, from day game. If you go out to a club, you'll bang a girl from night game. If you're on Tinder, you're gonna bang from online. People get these like egos and they fall, like because you're like the online game guy and I'm more of like the in-person game guy. Then they get camps and like, no, it's better. And it's so funny because people don't even know the fucking game exists, and then on the micro level where we people argue about the stupidest shit that doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And then you got like the red pill or black pill guys saying that the only form of game is choosing signals game where you have to wait until a girl picks you, and that cold approach makes you a simp. I was reading that and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like these guys are convinced that cold approach does not work. Like, okay. No, like
they stand against the wall. I actually met a guy like this in LA. He stood against the wall and would wait for a girl to stand next to him and like, elbow bump him to then like game. It's like, dude, that's boring. First of all, it's boring as fuck. Second of all, that just defies the whole biological reality that men are the ones that take the first step and the first action, right?
Right. I mean, I think if your goal is to avoid rejection, then choosing signals is the way to go. But that's never been my goal. My goal is just to like sleep with hot girls. Like I don't care if I get rejected a few times. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, so for me, I would say it's like 60 to 70% online, 15% day game, 15% night game, and 10% is like random, 5 to 10% random, like through random people or whatever, or something like that connect with a girl. But yeah, I definitely don't think there's a right or wrong way to meet girls.
Go ahead.
I was saying I don't think there's a right or wrong way to meet girls. It's just it's all a means to an end.
Yep, I agree. But I do think in-person game allows you to grow the fastest in terms of your personal growth, your ability to make identity level changes in yourself.
I think yes, but only if you're self-aware and you're able to put your ego down a little bit and learn from yourself, which not every guy can do.
Learn from yourself or get feedback from your wings, your mentors, etc.
But you have to be able to put your ego down and be willing to take that feedback.
Yeah, that's like honestly one of the biggest things that prevents people from taking your advice or my advice. I know
a lot of guys who are not open to feedback at all. Like,
dude, you know what's funny? The smartest, the richest, most successful people are constantly asking questions, and the people who are fucking fat, broke, dumb, have shitty lives, bang fucking ugly fat girls, those are the guys who think they know it all. They're like, oh no, I got it. I got my money's right. I got it. I know how to game. I know how to fight. I know how to do everything. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Well, hopefully he's not watching this. My mom's fiance, he's like really unhealthy. Like he has like all these weird health issues, but like he always like gives people health advice. And I'm just like, no, like you have to have a basic level of health to give health advice. Like it's like a homeless person giving you money advice. Like, all right, listen, let me tell you about this investment. It's actually pretty interesting. Sometimes when I go out, people see me like recognize me from the channel. Like, yo, dude, what are you doing out? I was like, what do you mean? Just hanging out. Yeah, but you're the Tinder guy. Like, shouldn't you be at home Tindering? It's like, no, I do other shit. It's like a trip for them because they just think I'm like on my phone all the time.
You're like at the wharf, like swiping.
Swiping right. All right, but real talk. Can you leave so I can do my Tindering?
Yeah.
All right, let's take some questions because we got a lot building up. Let's start off with this one. What's going on with you and Jay Campbell? So I was talking to Austin this before we started the live stream, but I mean, nothing really. So I reach out to a lot of people to invite them on the podcast, and I wanted to have him on because he knows a lot about not game, but he knows a lot about like hormones and TRT. I thought it would be like an interesting podcast, so I reached out to invite him on. Very polite and cordial, and he replies with 2 words: not interested. And I saw that. I'm like, dude, like, are you kidding me? Like, I have a way more popular channel than you, and like, it just like, okay, you're not interested, but like, why? I don't know. I just felt like his tone was like kind of shitty, like it was a little condescending. And so I thought it would be funny to troll him. So I just reply, if you're too nervous, I'd understand. I just want to see how he would respond to a takeaway. And dude, he just fucking flipped out. Like he just started sending me all these texts. Oh, it was like a bunch of. He was like, "You fucking cretin. I don't know if I ever saw you again, I'd kick your ass." Like he just went off on a tangent, which is really ironic because half his channel is just about being enlightened and about being grounded and like just being a high value man. And
dude,
clearly,
point in general, when you see, dude, I love the contrast between people's marketing and who they are in real life. Dude, sometimes it's just night and day, and you're like, "What? That's that guy?"
You know what I respect about you. One of the big things is that there's almost no discrepancy. There's actually, I would say, no discrepancy between your marketing and you. Like I had this idea of who you were going to be because I watched your videos before we met and shit. I was in your old Facebook group, but you were like exactly how I imagined you were going to be.
Yeah, that a couple comments I get. Yeah, that
I thought you were going to be a faggot and you turned out to. No, I'm just kidding.
There we go. Next question. Oh, sorry. Are you done with this?
Oh, so yeah. So the last thing I was going to ask. So then he went one step further and he took a screenshot of our conversation. He made it his Twitter post, and I just thought it was really funny. He also didn't get one single like or comment on that Twitter post. So then I screenshot that and I put it on my Instagram, and that's really the extent of it. It's not like we're going to get into a whole big feud or anything like that. I don't really care about it one way or another. I just thought it was funny, so I shared it.
Yeah, we got to start doing pick up YouTube boxing.
Dude, that's like a fucking the boxing thing is fascinating. How this just becomes such a thing.
Yeah, I mean, we could make money from it, and people would want to see it too, dude.
Especially YouTubers who don't like each other. Can you imagine how much money we could raise like a boxing match between RSD Tyler and J Molf? Like that would be $1 million event right there. All right, let's see what we got. So
I've been building for years.
I know. What made you move to Miami, Austin?
Yeah, so I'll mention a couple things. It's one of the only cities that are like basically fully open or open to the extent that you can actually live a normal life. Number 2, it's the least SJW city in the US. Number 3, I love Latinas and I love white girls, and this city is like a perfect mix of Latinas and white girls, in my opinion. What else? I love gaming in English. To help the most people, I got to make content in America because it's going to help the most people. I can't just make all my content in Spanish in like foreign countries. Also, I want it to be relevant to people, right? Because most of my audience is in the US. So I want to game girls in the US. I want to coach guys in the US. It's a good business move. It's a good move for impact in the world. And dude, I was in Colombia, and I had a personal chef come every day to cook. I had a cleaner. I had a girlfriend. I had like everything was just set up. Like I would only have to work like 4 hours a month basically, and just live in like a penthouse with 2 floors, marble floors. I had fucking a basketball hoop in my own house, like just living the life. But then at the end of the day, you're like, that gets fucking boring. Like once you have everything you want, it's kind of fucking boring, dude. So I want to have my new thing that gets my dick hard is, the most impact I can make, the most lives I can change, blowing up my YouTube, just doing stuff I haven't done before, making the best content I can. And yeah, that's why I'm really, really focused on business right now. Miami's great for that too. Gigabit internet, like connections. Also, Another thing is that if you're in a foreign country, people like to come visit you. They have to spend a lot of money to come visit you because of foreign flights. But Miami flights are fucking $100 to all of the U.S. So I have people all the time. Yo, bro, I'm in Miami. Yo, bro, I'm in Miami. Let's meet up. Let's do something. Let's go get dinner. And it's like perfect for like having a social circle of people that. Because dude, I've done 2 world tours. I have friends around the world, and everyone just comes through Miami. Cheapest flights to Europe and Latin America. So like everyone just ends up here at certain points. Like you can continue relationships that you had and continue like friendships, right? So it's just a really solid spot. Great for day game. Some cities are only good for one or the other, really.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Miami is good for both, and it's good for online. I think Miami is literally one of the best cities to be right now in America, possibly the world. Like everything is open. Like Miami's totally back to normal. Like no one gives a shit, or most people don't give a shit about COVID. Like you can go to bars, no one's wearing masks. It's packed. There's like day parties and shit. So Miami's 100% back to normal. Really hot girls. I think Miami has the hottest girls in the U.S. in my opinion. It's not too expensive. The weather is great. You can game, all the time. It's not like you have to walk around in a jacket. I think there's so many advantages to Miami.
I'd say that 2 downsides can be the climate and that it's somewhat of a dumber city. Compared to like a place like New York or Boston that has like more intellectual girls.
It's true.
But you will still like, you just have to screen a little bit harder for that. And yeah, like there's a lot of smart out there too. So.
I mean, Miami's very much at its core party city. Like people here just want to get fucked up and just fucking go wild. So yeah, it's like in terms of, I have noticed like when I used to live in LA, I used to meet a lot of people who were entrepreneurs and who were like hustling. And that does happen in Miami, but it's not nearly as often. Like in LA, everyone had like 3 or 4 hustles. In Miami, it's just like, I'm just chilling. But yeah, overall, I like Miami a lot. How to approach in Latin America at night. Women are scared. No, they're not.
Yeah, can I make a comment on this?
Yeah.
When the issue is like all of a region or all of a city or all of a place, it's probably an issue with you. How should I phrase this? Women generally respond the same to men, whether they're in fucking Bangkok or fucking Boston, right? It's just human nature. You need to give more space on the approach. You need to be more comforting in the vocal tonality you have. You need to not wear sunglasses. You need to look them in the eye with calm eye contact. And yeah, if every girl that is getting scared by you, that's something that you're doing wrong. And it's basically, you need to be more comforting on the open, so they don't get scared.
I think cold approach in Colombia is like significantly easier. That's not to say it's really that hard in America either. But like I remember last time I was in Colombia, dude, it was like mind blowing because I would just literally pretty much every girl I talked to would give me her number and she would be down to go on a date. Like, and a lot of these chicks were down to come straight over. I remember, dude, we landed in Colombia at like 2 p.m. 3:30 p.m. we go to the grocery store to get some food. On the way over, see a hot, busty 18-year-old Colombian girl, get her number. 2 days later, she comes straight to the house for like a fuck date. Like it was just like, it's like too easy almost.
Yeah, part of the culture there is something called buen educada, which means like well educated, which means well mannered. So people they're trained to be polite. If a stranger comes and asks you for something or says something, like you should respond, right? It's just part of the culture there.
I think that if you know Spanish and you're fluent, you can be fucking unstoppable in Colombia. Like me, with knowing very little Spanish, I felt like a god. But I just had this feeling that if I spoke Spanish fluently, it would just be like just too fucking easy.
Yeah, so I got 2 points on that. Number one, if you don't know Spanish at all, at least learn the open and then learn how to say Google Translate, which is like traductor.
Traductor de Google.
You get the open, and then she's like, and then you get the Google Translate. But if you open with Google Translate, it's just this weird dance. So that's one part. And then the second part is the biggest downsides for foreigners in Colombia is number one, they don't know Spanish, and number two, they don't know the culture. So the more you can work on those downsides, then you can get more results with girls there. Yeah,
100%. All right, Austen, what are some of your tips for first dates?
Jerk off in the shower beforehand, but don't come. So that way, desensitize your dick, but you still have that load of testosterone.
Wait, you really recommend that, or are you just trolling?
I do. Because a lot of guys, if they have an issue with like coming too early or things like this, then that's perfect for them. But actually, first date tips. So I usually pick a date time around sunset. I mean, this goes to my shifting video. Like when you shift between different things, people feel like they've known you longer. You've probably experienced this, like, if you walk through a different city and it's like sunset, you can kind of feel like the daytime, the sunset, the nighttime, and it just feels like, hours and hours have gone by when in reality it's been like, 30, 40 minutes. Uh-huh. So that's one thing, sunset dates or evening dates.
That's interesting. I never even thought of that.
I like to have dates that are close to me, and there's things that are not like, they don't put pressure on the girl and make her think that she's the only thing going on in the date, but it's something you would do anyway, and she can be invited onto. It's kind of like it's a train going somewhere, and then, she can hop aboard if she wants to. You're going to go anyway. So an example would be like, hey, I just got this new lens. I'm going to go take photos in, whatever, the park. I'm going to
go creep in the bushes and take pictures of busty women. You want to join?
Yeah, daddy.
Or he's like, I go to big city to take pictures of women when they make a toilet. Yeah, so that's another one. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you should start going, and I'll rant off what you say because I don't have.
Yeah, because it's funny when you said the shower thing. Actually, so I used to have this ritual, and I don't think I've talked about publicly that often. But so here was my ritual when I was like kind of getting into game, and I wasn't sure, like I wasn't as confident about closing. So first step of my ritual would be I would take a cold shower, and I would visualize myself fucking the girl. And my rule was I had to sit in the shower until I got a boner. Because you really have to see this clearly if you're going to get hard in a cold shower. So that like forced me. And I wouldn't allow myself to leave the cold shower until I got a boner, right? So I really had to very clearly visualize it. The second thing I would do is I would watch a porno with a chick who looks similar to the girl I have a date on without jerking off. So like if I had a date with like an Asian with big tits, I would type in big titty Asian gets fucked by skinny white guy. And then like I would want it to be as real as possible. So then I would visualize, I would see, like feel it. And then my rule was I had to watch the porno until I got a boner, but wasn't allowed to jerk off. So that was like my 2-step ritual. And then I would meet the girl. I'll do this right before the date. I just find that now, like I largely don't have to do that, but I find that that's actually like a really effective strategy in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, dude, another thing. This would be interesting to get your feedback. You know what? I'll just lay out the kind of stuff that I do on a day and then see if there's parallels with you.
Yeah.
So I typically try to meet the girl within 3 days of grabbing her number. Now, if I've had like a really solid interaction or she's following me on Instagram and she can't meet up, then that can be postponed a little bit. But typically within 3 days.
I meet her. Don't do that, but I recommend it. The reason I don't do it is simply because I'm usually too busy. But I do think that's the optimal approach is to, if you have the time and like you're learning game and your goal right now is to improve in game, then I agree with that.
Nice. I sit next to her. It's at like the midpoint of the date. So to start off, we just do something. I sit across from her if I'm doing like a sit down thing. And then at some point I just grab her like purse or whatever, or phone. I sit it on my side and I just like call her over to sit next to me.
I sit next to her from the start.
Okay. And then I'm kind of inquisitive. I kind of find out who she is. I'm naturally curious. So I love to just kind of find out who people are, what makes them tick. And the more you find out about them, then it's kind of like, it's almost like improv, right? The more you can kind of like jump on different topics, like, oh, that New Yorker news coming out, call back. Mm-hmm. Then I talk about things that I can do in my place. Oh, yeah, my dog, photography lights, just got this new lens.
Preceding.
Then I leave. So basically, yeah, preschool. Then I lead people. Any objections she has, I handle those. But that's also like when you schedule the date. If you're scheduling the date super, super late, like a lot of times that can become an issue. But that's one of the good things about meeting like close to sunset or even a little bit earlier is that's not an issue. Handle objections that come up. Hey, you're not a fucking serial killer, are you? Well, listen, I used to be, but I literally don't have the time for it anymore. So I'll let you live this out. And then
you don't know how much work it takes to dispose of a body. That's an 8-hour job right there.
I have to fucking upload. I have to do a StreamYard. I got to do a podcast. Like, I just don't have time. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's typically how I do it on my dates.
Do you go for the makeout at the venue, or do you wait until you get back to your place?
I'm half and half. Actually, no, I'd say I'm more likely do the makeout. So I'd say like 60 to 70% of the time I go for the makeout, but then I leave it. So like I'll make out because there is a certain biochemical thing that happens, right? When you know what they literally call it? Fuck, I don't know. But it's basically she's getting a preview of your immune system. You're getting a preview of her immune system. Isn't that interesting? And you can see if you have a compatible immune system. They've done studies on this, and they found that women are most attractive to people who have complementary immune systems. But anyway, you do the makeout, and that sets
Wait,
like
then why the fuck do I get laid? My immune system sucks. Why are chicks banging me then?
Because they know they need to help you with your Lyme disease. They're like, I have the secret sauce. But yeah, and then I don't keep making out. That can backfire a lot. So I don't know if you've ever done this. You ever finger a girl at a club?
Yeah, I have, but it's not my go-to strategy.
Yeah. So the two times that I've met a girl and then fingered her in the club, the first time she just got super validated by it and moved on to another guy. The second time she was just down and we pulled. But yeah, if you over validate a girl by making out with her, there's no mystery left. There's no excitement left. So it's kind of a balance between
and there's no sexual tension left.
And then sexual tension. And you can use sexual
tension is one of the most important things. That's like a huge cornerstone of my game. It's just building massive sexual tension. I think sexual tension can lead to a lot of compliance. So basically go on the date, build sexual tension, pull her back to my place, and then, capitalize on the sexual tension.
And I'll define it. So sexual tension is a postponement of physicality that both you and she want. So if you can tell the girl really wants to kiss you again, and then you can there's that ball of tension energy between you. You lean in for it, you back away. Yeah. Hey, by the way, and it's really powerful. And like a girl literally, she'll describe it. She'll be like, I get fucking goosebumps when you do that.
I think that's one of the big things that separates intermediates from advanced guys. Intermediates, they know how to make a move, they can go forward, but they still don't have full mastery of how to play with sexual tension.
Yeah. Dude, I'll make a point here. I think only 5% of people can really, truly master game.
Interesting. You really think so?
To have complete mastery where they're getting 200 lays. It's the same, dude. I feel like, so I'll make a couple points. There is a parallel to business, whereas what is it? 5% of businesses succeed after 5 years or something like this, right? They're still in operation or whatever. But the thing is, human connection, everyone can have human connection where it's hardwired into us. Entrepreneurship is not hardwired into certain people. Certain people are fucking retarded and they have American Idol syndrome and think they're just going to make their fucking cupcake bakery and it's going to all work out, but it doesn't.
I think most people cannot be entrepreneurs. It takes a certain set of skills that a lot of people don't have.
I also think most people don't even want to master game. They just want to get a fucking girlfriend. If most people were truly honest about themselves, they'd say I want to fuck 10 girls and then just get a really cool girlfriend that I can just, go on trips with.
That's true. But do you think that when you say most guys can't really master game, do you mean that they to learn the skill, or do you mean that they can't get a lot of girls? Because I think that most guys do have the ability to get a lot of girls, but that's not the same as mastering game.
Yeah. It depends on the time horizon too, right? How long are we talking? I mean, you talk to guys in their 60s, they probably have actually, you know what it is? It's eight-digit lay count. Sorry, it's 8 lays for a lifetime is average. But I think that should be going up.
Yeah,
I'm not sure actually. Crazy. Because I do know for some people, it's definitely going up. It probably is the poor are getting poorer, the rich are getting richer type of thing. Yeah. The guys who are super attractive are getting more and more girls.
100% agree with that. Yep.
Virginity, I know virginity in men is on the rise, tremendously.
Dude, 100% agree. I do think it's exactly like that. It's the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. So the guys who know game or have a high sexual market value, they're getting more pussy than ever. They're just fucking rolling in the pussy. Because 15, 20 years ago, right, before dating apps, before Instagram, those guys had to manually go out to a bar and meet a girl, which takes time, right? Versus now, if they have a dope Instagram, they're just meeting a lot of chicks through that. They're not even really having to do that much cold approach. So yeah,
and then think the really rich are getting really rich. So do you know about who Vegas Dave is?
Who is?
This guy, his name's Vegas Dave. He's a sports betting guy. He's probably the best sports bettor in the world.
No, I never heard of him.
He'll be yo, come to fucking Tulum and just fly 6 girls out because he's got money like that. And yeah. Anyway, so let's talk mastery. Yeah, it's mastery is a tough thing to do, and not only to get mastery game, you have to almost, you have to change your identity to a certain point, right?
Mhm.
All of your personality, add different parts of your personality. You have to go out consistently, or, you know, in your case, maybe do a lot of swiping, a lot of dates. You have to constantly review things. You have to make sure that you're progressing. To a certain point, it's like you say, it's kind of diminishing returns. It's like, dude, I'll write like a fucking 2-sentence field report if I pull and bang a girl, because I'm not learning too much from each one, right? Versus like if you're in that intermediate phase and you go out and you pull a girl, it's like a big deal, and like you write it down and you learn a lot from each individual thing.
You also have to kill your ego. I think that's a big one. Like you
Yeah.
cannot significantly improve if you have a big ego around game and whatnot. Like you have to really kill your ego.
Also, the
Which
trap
actually has-
of that relationship is too tempting. Like a lot of guys cannot. Dude, you know what I did? I've had relationships while I was learning game, but I didn't make it exclusive. A lot of guys, they can't even handle that conversation,
Yeah.
which is essentially just 3 parts. These are the things I like about you. You're fucking awesome. At this point in my life, I need to experiment, be with other girls, and, you know, in the future, I think I'm going to get over that phase, and then we can be together.
So true. And most girls will actually be cool with that as long as they don't feel like they've been lied to. So what chicks really hate is like feeling used or misled. But as long as you're pretty upfront from the start, like most chicks will get down with that, or a good amount of girls, I would say.
Yeah, they don't want you to break their trust. And another thing too, the more value that you generate, the less girls will even care that you're seeing other guys.
The most likely they're going to be to overlook some of your transgressions. Why the fuck am I stumbling with that word? So let me ask you on this topic one more question. So when it comes to pulling, what's your, like, let's say you're on a public date and you want to pull the chick back to your place. What's your, like, your go-to strategy?
I got to take my dog out.
Oh, really? What about before you have the dog?
I actually don't even have a go-to strategy because I just customize it to every girl. If the girl drinks, I have tequila. If she likes dogs, my dog. If she wants to smoke, I have weed. If she wants to see a cool view, I got a cool view. Like, I also layer things, so it's not just one thing I'm pulling for, but I'll like stack it. I'm like, yeah, let's get this food to go. We'll eat on the balcony. We can check out the sunset. We can check out the view. And also I got to let my dog out. So we'll let her out. And then also like, yeah, we have tequila there. So we have to fucking wait 20 minutes for a drink or whatever. So I'll layer these things in. Karaoke's been big. Do you have Google Chromecast at your place?
No.
Dude, so I've been doing this for karaoke. I don't even have a karaoke mic. I just put Google Chromecast on the TV, and I'll just go on YouTube and put in like the girl's favorite song, whatever she likes. Like last night we were playing Taylor Swift Willow. This girl's like singing it. She's getting into the vibe. Yeah. Dude, I also think the balcony is an understated thing. Because, dude,
romantic balcony.
They take them out to the, like, my student took his girl out to the balcony. I brought my girl to the room. I schmeeshed. I brought them back out. They had a little girl talk. We do a shot of tequila. And then he brings his girl to my room and schmeeshes. And then so it's like, and dude, the balcony just serves so many purposes, especially if you're pulling a bigger group. Dude, and you can bang on the balcony too, especially in Miami. That's one thing I really do love about Miami that is kind of underappreciated as well.
Have you been banging on your balcony a lot?
So I haven't banged on my balcony. Wait, have I? No, I just was naked with a girl on my balcony. I didn't bang there. Dude, every time I don't bang on my balcony, I regret it.
It's like a part of me dies. That
so it blocks all the sound. You could literally be clapping cheeks on the balcony and no one would even hear you. And
even if they do in Miami, most people don't give a shit. That's like the norm.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of pornos are filmed. So
Miami's a city for sex, LA for fame, New York for finance, and DC for power. But I think that's changing.
My go-to move that it's been for years is so this is how I typically pull. So I don't even say we're going to my place. I just say, let's go. And I just lead them to my place without actually saying where we're going. And there's 2 reasons why this works. First of all, because there's a strong sexual undertone to the interaction. So if you're on a date and it's like purely platonic for half an hour and you do that, like the chick is probably going to object to actually coming inside. But there's like a strong sexual undertone. But I don't like to say, hey, do you want to go to my place? Or because I feel like that's a big compliance jump. And the girl might start thinking like, oh, no, it is getting kind of late, right? Like you're putting a lot of pressure on her in that moment to make a yes or no decision. I feel like if you lead, and most girls, when I do this, most chicks are like, haha, very smooth, Alex, very smooth. Like I usually get compliments on that. Like most chicks are like, that was really smooth. Okay, all right. They're like impressed.
Girls know what's going on, and they've done this rodeo a lot. They're maybe like late 20s. Sometimes I'll just be like, if we're by their place, for example, I'll be like, man, I really got to use the bathroom. And they'll be like, oh, I see what you're doing. Sometimes I like older girls because they just get that. Dude, I will say, do you know who Calvin M is?
Yes.
Okay.
In LA, right?
Yeah, this is one thing he did on his dates. He would get sushi with the girl, but he'd order way too much sushi, so they have to put it in a box. And you can't just carry sushi in fucking lukewarm air. So he'll get too much sushi. He'll be like, get a to-go box. He'll be like, oh, I gotta go put this in my fridge. So that was like one of his dates where he like just always lead for putting sushi in his fridge. And then the second one is he would just walk and talk about the architecture in his area. And then he would just start walking into his building, go upstairs, show her like the view or whatever, and talk about it. And then before she even like thinks, she's in his place. So it's like this pool talk that he just had like at the tip of his tongue.
Dude, I've never met anyone as passionate about game as that guy. Like when I would see him, because we lived really close to each other for a while, when I would see him, he wouldn't even say, yo, what up, man? He would just literally jump straight into a story. So I would just be like, yo, Calvin. Yeah, man. So then anyway, I pulled her back to my place, like just literally mid-story. And then like halfway through. If I didn't stop him, this would go on for hours. Like he would just literally tell me story after story. And he didn't really care about my game stories. He just wanted to tell me all the recent things that he's learned and like his innovation.
I love him because he's so competitive. Like, dude,
he's so competitive. Yes.
Oh, dude. So during the quarantine, we became conquerors at PUBG Mobile, which has like 2 million players or something, and even more during the quarantine. And we got like top 100 in the in North America playing that game. So that he's like competitive in game. When we're going fucking skiing, snowboarding, competitive. I don't know. I love people that are competitive. People say like Americans are competitive and they don't like it, but I fucking love it, dude.
Dude, he's in. How do you know him? Did you live in? Oh yeah, you did live in Santa Monica.
I live in LA, yeah.
Rhaegar, stop.
That guy has the most detailed spreadsheet of all time.
My dog is just fucking trying to scavenge from my roommate's plate.
But yeah, it's like we'll sort. He has like a spreadsheet. He gets sorted by like the hotness of the girl or like how good the sex was, and then he sorts by hot. And I'm like, so who's the hottest girl? And he's like, probably like, well, there's 7 here, so let me go. Like he'll click on like one, and then it's like opens a Google Drive link to like him like being here like the girl or whatever. It's like
he's definitely an interesting character. How to close in my truck because no logistics in my city right now.
What kind of truck is it? You could put blankets and pillows in the truck bed, and then anywhere's your bang spot.
Yeah, I mean, or you could just get an Airbnb for the night. The big thing.
See, this is not an issue with game. This is an issue with people not being resourceful. If I put a gun to your head, Ellis, and I said, you better think of 5 fucking reasons or 5 fucking ways that you can bang a girl in your city in the next 10 seconds, or I'm fucking killing you. You'd be able to figure it out. Hotel fucking bathroom. A boat in my city that's like unattended at a dock, in an alley, park, your friend's place, Airbnb, in your mom's house. Like, I
fucking hate having sex in cars. I've done it. It's so uncomfortable. Like I've done it multiple times, but like every time I do it, I'm just reminded how much I hate having sex in cars.
Sex in bed is good. That's my thing. That's my king. In a bed.
Sex in where?
In a bed. It's like a thing that you. Yeah.
Highly underrated. So yeah, I mean, but in terms of that, I'm just trying to think of how I used to do it back when I didn't have, or when I had shitty logistics when I was staying with my mom. I mean, like I would just like say like, yo, let's go. I know a cool spot. We can have some drinks there and just chill and like take her somewhere where there's like privacy and then just start escalating. I probably wouldn't really do anything that different.
Oh, another thing I used to do all the time is I'd always have a blanket in my trunk. And if like say this isn't your first date, or sorry, you're not your first date or you're pulling a girl, you could just take that and go on a hike with a girl, put it in your backpack, and then you can lay a blanket anywhere. If you ask a lot of girls, like there's like different quizzes you can have girls take to see what they're into. A lot of girls like to like fuck in public, or if it says like fucking nature or some beautiful place, they'd love that. It's honestly amazing. I don't know how cold or hot it is in your city, but it's very nice.
Yo, Austin, When you said run ads, what kind of ads are you running? Can you provide context on this?
Yeah, so I'm not going to provide context on that. I say that for my academy members because there's a saying, marketers ruin everything, and if you give out your secrets, like if Alex makes a whole video on deep fakes and it goes viral or something, then whoop, there goes that little leverage. And if I make a video on ads, then there goes that little leverage. So yeah, I keep that for people.
Funny. I had a feeling. Rhaegar! My hands. God fucking damn. Rhaegar, stop.
One thing that I guess really solid game and human connection, that's one thing that'll never become too mainstream. Because a lot of people can't even connect with people.
It's funny. I had a feeling you were going to say that. I was like, as I was picking a question, I was like, all right, I know what's going to happen here. But yeah, you got to save some things. Like if you give every single thing away, you just have no leverage. I try to give away a lot of things, but I also try to save some. Does a cat work better? Because I like cats better, kind of. Yeah, but you can't really walk a cat.
I don't think cats are better. Dogs are superior, just straight up.
But yeah, I mean, the only thing is you can't really walk a cat, so this is going to be more for just like when she's back at your place. But actually, my roommate Nitin, he used to have a cat. He used to use the cat all the time. So,
and I think if we're being completely objective, more girls would prefer to go back to see a dog. Let's be real.
That's true. The dog thing might backfire. She's walking a dog too, and they start fighting. Maybe get a muscle. Don't walk around with your dog in a muscle. That's a horrible idea. I mean, it could happen. I mean, it depends on your kind of dog. Like my dog is really friendly. He only fights with like 1% of dogs, so it's like it's like a risk I take. Although it does suck.
This is the pickup guy that like is the overthinker. It's like, well, what if this happens and your dog starts fighting with the dog? Do you put money on your dog or like how do you? It's like, dude, you need to leave your house.
Does Athena ever fight with other dogs?
Very rarely. She's just like defensive. So like if there's food, she will if like the dog tries to eat her food, or if I start petting another dog in front of her, she'll like just like push the dog away. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's funny.
Otherwise, she loves everyone, dude. I lucked out that she's like the friendliest dog with dogs, other animals, and people. So
yeah, Rhaegar is the same exact way. He's like super fucking friendly, like just a great personality. And your dog was a rescue too, right? Or no?
No.
Okay. Yeah, mine was. Yeah. So, all right, guys. So I want to announce something. So we've been going for an hour now, and we only have 37 likes. And I hate fucking being a fucking whore for likes. But can you guys get us to 100 likes? It helps in the algorithm. It helps the channel grow. It helps me. It helps Austen. If you guys get us to 100 likes, we're gonna. What's something we could give away, Austen? That's not too big of a deal. A what?
A Latina? It's like a woman that's from a Latin American descent.
Well, okay. You know what we'll do? Me and Austen will pick our most recent clothes, and we'll read the screenshots.
Okay.
If you guys get us to 100 likes, though, you guys have to get us to 100 likes. All right.
One of the things I like about like in-person game is that your text messages can be so like succinct. It can be like, dude, you can bang your girl. Like people don't understand that you can bang your girl, not even get her number, not even know her name. And then girls
can. But how often does that happen? Honestly,
happened 2 nights in a row for me.
Really?
That's the thing. I'm not the average guy, right? And the amount of effort that it takes to get like, dude, the amount of effort that it takes to get really, really good at game, not everyone even has that amount of time or desire or yeah. But honestly, dude, for me, maybe I just look at it kind of simplistic. Like, dude, all I see right now is like, I like the girl, just throw myself in, chat, kind of figure out like her blueprint a little bit, vibe, start leading, get into the rhythm of her following your leading, kind of build like a sexual frame, and then seed, lead, and then at home, make her comfortable, relax, and put music on, good lighting, and then kind of make out and then lead to your room. That's literally a game to me at this point. So I just see it very simplistically.
I think this might be one area when you and I slightly differ. So I almost never do same day and same night lays. I have done them in the past, but nowadays, like with cold approach, my strategy is generally like solid interaction, really lock it in. If I can get some physicality in, like if I can make out with her, in my opinion, that makes the number even more solid. So I'll try to really get a good quality invested set, close with the right expectation. Like, hey, listen, I'm not just getting your number so we can like stay in touch. I'm getting your number because we're gonna hang out like soon. We're gonna go on a date. Get her number with that, and then text them and get them out like sometime within a week. That's really, sometimes it takes me weeks to get them out.
And it's very solid. A lot of people say night game numbers can be flaky, which they can be, but if you have a really solid interaction, it's solid. My past 3 girlfriends were number closes from night game.
I've had two girlfriends that were I've had a total of 4 girlfriends. 2 of them were three of them were number closes.
We need the exact number, Alex.
What?
Let's get down to business. Let's see, what is the number, 3 or 2?
3. I had to think about it. Well, one of them is tricky.
Everyone listening at home, write down 3.
One of them was like, it was like a same night lay, but then like I got her number before she left the next day. So technically it's like a night game number. I don't know, however you want to define it. Yeah. So, okay. So on this question, we kind of touched on this heavily, but I just want to say, I want to answer the second part of this question, how to make it less awkward. And also
go on a rant. I'm going to go pee real quick. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. I'm going to be ranting away. So how to make it less awkward and also escalate. I think that it's important to embrace awkwardness. That's not to say you should make things awkward, but I think it's okay if things get awkward. Like, it's not a big deal. Awkward should happen. So your goal on a date should not be to avoid awkwardness. Your goal should be to, close, smoothly escalate, right? And sometimes it can get a little bit awkward, but it's, if you know game and you can fuck around with sexual tension and you don't make a big deal out of it, you can kind of maneuver your way out of the awkwardness. So in terms of escalating, again, my general strategy is, and I've done videos on this, you can see my demonstrations, is proximity, strong eye contact, light touches. So I'll be looking into her eyes, standing close to her, touching her. After that, I use that to build up sexual tension. I slow down my speech a little bit. Instead of talking really fast, I might just slow it down. And I might talk a little bit more quietly and get closer to her. And after that, it really comes after that, I just go for the makeout and then just progressively escalate, kissing down her neck, maybe playing with her breasts, her heaving breasts.
Oh, Alex, here's the thing for you. I like these podcasts because we can actually chat about our own secrets, but it's also builds our brand. It's pretty sick. So one of the things I've been good at is any girl that I've hooked up with and I didn't know how to deal with her particular kink, I would read Reddit r/sex forums. I'd read books on it and then try things out and ask her what she wants specifically. And we try it out. And I basically learned every girl's kink to a pretty solid degree. So if I find that a girl's in a particular kink, I can start bringing that out in the interaction a little bit to kind of because if she starts thinking in her mind, wow, I could try that with him. Because just as most girls are not that good in bed, most guys are not good in bed, right? And in fact, I feel like guys probably are worse in bed because a lot of guys don't even have the references. Dude, this is guys, the guys focus on nofap when it's I don't really think about nofap anymore because I'm fucking, right? It's you want to replace the idea of nofap with just fucking girls, right?
Right.
So yeah, bring those ideas of that into the interaction, right? I don't know if you've tried that, but it can be very.
I say that because I've been doing that for the last 3-4 years. I called it leveraging her kinks. So I try to figure out what her. Actually, it was funny because I remember the exact night.
It's the title for everything.
I remember the exact night I had this epiphany. It was actually a really interesting story. It was 2 days after I moved to Miami. I was staying in Airbnb because I didn't have a place yet. And I was just going on a rampage because, I drove from Texas. It was fucking messy. I was tired and I just wanted to fucking just get late. And so I set up way too many. So I set up 3 dates for the same night. First girl comes straight over, we bang. Second girl comes straight over, we bang. Third girl. And third girl is this really fucking hot German girl with fake tits. And she was just just so much my type. She was very pretty, but also just a rocking body. So I was when I saw her, initially I was almost flaked on the date because I was so tired. But when I saw her, I'm I got to hook up with this girl. She's really fucking hot. So, but that one was a public date. So we're sitting at a bar, and she tells me she's married. She's not even really sure what she's doing with me because she shouldn't be cheating on her husband. She's not that kind of girl, and maybe she should just leave. So she's going into the day with a lot of reservations. And so I just ran normal game on her, got her comfortable, good banter, good investment, like everything. Go to pool. No, she doesn't want to. Okay. I try to handle her objections, try to do everything. No. I tried every tool I had at my disposal at the time, and she just doesn't want to come back to my place. Like, I just can't get her. And so I'm like, at this point, I remember I was just like at a point where I was just like, fuck it. Like, I'll just, like, I was at a loss because I didn't know what to do. So I'm like, all right, I'll just try random shit. Right. And that's usually when you discover shit, is when you're just like at a point where you don't give a fuck anymore because you don't think anything's going to happen anyway. So I'm like, what if I just go really sexual in the conversation, which is something at that point, like 4 years ago, I wasn't really doing often on public dates. Like on straight to the house dates I was, but not on public dates before I pulled. So like, all right, what if I just go sexual and just like fucking just fuck around with it? So somehow we start talking about her fantasies, and she tells me all her fantasies. And so then I just started riffing, right? So it's like almost like stand-up mic. I just start like, she tells me she has the whole pregnancy fantasy, where her fantasy is like the thought of a guy impregnating her, but she doesn't actually want to get pregnant. So I'm like, yeah, girl, like, imagine how hot it would be for me to just shoot my load inside your tight little. Well, I don't even want to say because I want to get kicked off YouTube, but you guys kind of get the picture. So I'm like, yeah, it feels so good. It's just like dripping out.
Like cream.
Yeah, just that cream pie. And dude, I just watch her eyes just like suddenly, like her level of interest is just like an all-time high. Like throughout the whole date, her interest was decent, but it wasn't that high. And she's just like putty in my hands. I was like, my brain just picks up on this. All right, clearly something is working here. So I just started leveraging. I'm like, yeah, what else are you into? She's like, oh, I love having my hair pulled. Yeah, imagine me just grabbing your hair. And then I demonstrate and just pulling a little bit. And I just watch her like investment get to an all-time high. And then when I go to pull this time, she's fully compliant. And then that just like hit me, the power of just like leveraging a girl's kinks and building on that. You just get like massive amount of attraction investment. So ever since then, I've been doing that.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to make a story significantly longer than it has to be. Like all I had to do was say I just talk about the girl's kinks, but I just like to go into unnecessary detail to build the suspense.
You told it in a good way.
Okay, so this question.
Dude, Alex, why don't you talk a little bit about telling stories?
In what sense?
Like how to tell a story from, like, everyone listening here has a story. So how to tell certain stories in an engaging way.
I think the key with that is relevance. So the story has to be relevant to the audience. So for example, I would not tell the story I just told at a family dinner party, right? Like that wouldn't be relevant to my family at all. They'd be like, what the fuck? So whatever you talk about has to be relevant to the audience. Like on these podcasts, like sometimes I do go off on tangents, but like me and you have, we're both into healthy foods. We're both into dogs. But if we talk about that for an hour, that's not really going to be relevant to the majority of the people watching this, right? So I think relevance has to be a key part of the story. I think this is where a lot of people fuck up. They tell stories, they're just not relevant to their audience or the girl they're on a date with. I think the second part of the story is you want to build suspense, right? So you want to give the details in a way to build the suspense. And then at the end, you have like the climax. I think another good thing you can do is like almost foreshadow what's going to happen at the end. So the person's like, oh, I think I know where this is going. So I think that's another powerful tool. I like to, make my stories funny. So I might be like, and so then I just pissed my pants. No, like, yeah, I'll just throw in like random shock humor in there and then be like, I'm just kidding or something.
The diarrhea story.
What's the diarrhea story? Wait, you just kind of throw.
Or is this Casey's story?
I think that's Casey's story.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I do have my share of diarrhea stories. I just don't think I ever told you them.
But I think I liked with his. It was like you did, like the way that you figured out what happened is like a girl making a salad. So it's basically, I'll back up. So basically, my friend was in Colombia. He'd been texting a girl for 2 weeks, and it's been so on, and like she was just like,
wait, that was my story. Never mind. With the ass eating?
Yes, dude.
Yeah, that was my girl.
Okay.
And then there's a plot twist to the story. I find out in the jacuzzi that Nin has actually been texting this girl for years now, like somehow.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to let's get to these. So, how do you feel about the concept of leaving ass on the table? Idea of being too direct with women may make you lose her. Okay, so one thing is it's just optimal game. I teach optimal game because I want. Sometimes you're going to need optimal game,
Right.
but you can if you can tell that the girl's really into you, you can say things like, "I'm going to take you back to my place and fuck you." But that's only if the girl's super, super down. And also, you don't gain anything by being extremely direct in that way, but you could lose in terms of like it's too soon, right? Mm-hmm. Some girls, even when you bring them back, like my sex playlist is called Relax. Why is it called Relax and not Sex Playlist? Because if a girl sees I'm playing Sex Playlist and she's not ready to have sex with me, it kind of is like, oh, it's too soon. Also on my sex playlist, I don't put fucking The Weeknd or any songs about like, girl, I'm gonna clap your cheeks tonight. Because if she's not ready for that on my couch, then she's gonna get like, she's gonna be like, oh, this is too intense, and then leave, right? So it's called Relax. I put like chill vibes music. If you guys search Austen Summers on Spotify, you'll find that playlist. It's called Relax. But yeah, so I think optimal game, you're like moving like systematically, step by step toward building a sexual frame and moving her closer to your place. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think that I get this question when it comes to screening. They're like, yo, Alex, like you screen pretty aggressively sometimes over text. Are you not concerned that you could have potentially met that girl and, you know, gamed her in person and smashed? And like, of course, that's always a possibility. Like I think it's natural to leave some ass on the table. Like, I'm okay with that, though. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like, okay, there's always more chicks. Now, what I'm not okay with is, like, for example, not to say I'm not okay with it, but, like, if it's a girl who I like, who I've been hooking up with, and saying something that turns her off, right? Like, I'm going to try to not, like, but that's already if I have a connection with a girl. But a random girl who I've never met or, like, barely met, like, I don't really care. Like, there's always more fish in the sea. I think it's good to have that mindset. Like, I think too many guys, they just get stuck on one girl. I think that's like one of the most common things I see coaching or just doing the forums and all that shit. Guys just like get too preoccupied with one girl that they literally know nothing about because maybe they've been on one date and they've already convinced themselves that she's like the perfect chick. I have to make it work with her. So I think having a more abundance mindset is like definitely huge, at least for me.
Yo, I have a question. Where are you getting these questions from? Does this come into StreamYard?
Yeah, you don't see. Do you see the thing that says comments to the right?
I see it on. I see it. Is this from YouTube comments though? Because I looked for that comment.
These are YouTube comments. I'm just picking out ones that I think are good. Yeah, there's a bunch. We have like literally we could do this for 8 hours and still not answer all the comments. So there's just a bunch. These I'm just cherry picking out.
Yo, drop a like if you want us to do this for 12 hours straight.
Oh my god, I'm gonna lose my voice by hour 2. But yo, guys, we're
19 likes away, or sorry, we're 17 likes away from 100 likes. So
everyone
Alex and I will show our text from the last couple girls we met up with.
All right, let's see. Say this because it's talking circle. I need to move out. Just love. How do you approach girl? Okay, let's take this question. How do you approach a girl during the pandemic? My friends are really into this girl, but much taller, better physique, and more extroverted than me. How do I get at her without being cock-blocked? Well, cock-blocked by who? Your friends? Hopefully your friends don't try to cock-block.
Girls taller or friends are taller? My friends are really into this girl, but much taller. Okay, his friends are more extroverted.
I mean, I approach a girl exactly the same as I would pre-pandemic. I generally try to look for girls who are not like wearing their mask on their nose. Like I try to look for chicks who either have their mask down or not wearing it because I found that the chicks who are like have the mask like this are just less likely to be receptive. It happens all the time, but just like in terms of averages, it's less likely. But I run the same exact game I did 2 years ago.
This question is like 7 questions in one. How do you approach a girl during a pandemic? The same way you would when it's not a pandemic. You just, if girls are wearing masks, they're outside, they're typically retarded. Also, if they're all wearing a mask, you tell them like take it off or like, well, let me see what you look like without the mask, and they won't take it off. It's probably not a girl that would even fucking put out, dude. So yeah, it's literally the same. Like people always think that there's such huge differences, dude. You know what other pandemic we've been approaching in for our entire lives? It's called the HIV/AIDS pandemic, which killed like 30 million people, or sorry, 65 million people, right? So
that's a lot more serious.
You're approaching during some kind of pandemic for the rest of your life. Most girls don't really care about this pandemic nonsense anymore. I don't know if you lived in like a cucked place like fucking Toronto or New York or something, but I would honestly suggest move to a place that if this happens again, you know that life is going to take a 2-week pause and then go back to fucking normal like Miami did. You don't want to be stuck in fucking Toronto and like becoming depressed and all your friends are fucking getting addicted to alcohol and drugs and shit. That's the first part. My friends are really into this girl, but okay, your friends are better physique, more extroverted, taller, and they're going to cock block you. Why are your friends cock blocking you? What kind of friends are these?
Yeah, I would never hang out with anyone who cock blocks me.
That doesn't make sense. Also, there's always going to be the guy that's taller than you, always going to be a guy who's better physique, and always going to be a guy that's more extroverted than you. Also, another thing people do is they think that because they're introverted, they can't fucking approach girls. That's not even what that fucking means. This is so stupid. I got to make a video on this. Extroversion means you get energy from being around people. Introversion means you get energy by being alone. Now, the difference would be you could be I'm an introverted person, but I'm outgoing. You could also be extroverted and you could be more reserved. There's people who love to be around people, but they're not the center of attention, right? They're off to the side. Maybe they're just like, they want to be around people, but they're not necessarily the spotlight all the time. I like to be the spotlight, but I also am like the introvert. So
that's exactly how I describe myself too, introverted, but outgoing.
Yeah.
Like I've never been the extroverted type. Like to me, social stuff is like a little draining. Like I love doing social shit, but like it takes my energy. It doesn't give me more energy.
The last thing I'll say about this is, by the way, is my audio coming from the mic or from my computer?
I don't know. I can't tell. No, I don't hear anything when you tap the mic, so probably from the computer.
My computer. Okay.
But the audio's fine.
Is you want to have your wingmen or the people who live with you essentially treat you like your god. If my assistant pulls a girl, I'm like, oh, thank you so much for giving me a job, Aman. Thank you so much. Like, oh, he's the fucking best. Oh my God. Like, I'll just bring up random shit. Like, we'll all just like cower to him, basically. Whoever brings the girl back, like, oh shit, you're so lucky you're with Aman, or you're so lucky you're with Chris. Like, you know,
Daddy, can we have dinner now?
What do you say?
Daddy, can we have dinner now? No.
Yeah. Aman, I'm finishing this up. I'm so sorry. I'll have it by tomorrow morning. It's like, yeah, you treat them like they're God, and you talk them up. So when I'm with my student, what do I say? I say, oh shit, you know, he's a fucking doctor, right? He saves people's lives. Right? Stuff like this. Just always be building up the other person. You got to be like, being a good wingman is like being a hype man.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit, next on the mic, DJ Alex.
Yeah, and not being selfish. I can't stand when like I hear stories about like, yeah, my wing stole my girl. Like, why? There's so many more girls. Like, I'll always prioritize a friendship over a random girl.
Yeah,
like 100% of the time. Yeah, I think you kind of knocked out this question. All right, so what are some of your favorite reasons to pull back to your place? Also, any suggestions on what to do for the first 20 minutes of entering your place? Literally, the reason I pull girls back to my place is just to have another drink. Like right. I keep things as simple as possible. Yeah, I got some wine. We can drink on my romantic balcony if I do give a reason. Sometimes I just pull without a reason. Favorite activities, I keep it really simple. So a big cornerstone of my game is just try to keep things as simple as possible. I put on music. I usually ask her what music she likes because music like is tied to emotions. So let's say she's a little nervous. She's unsure of the situation. She's maybe not sure if she should have gone back to you. You put on her favorite song that she has good emotions with. She's gonna start feeling good emotions. So I think that's like a really good hack. So I'll always ask her what her favorite music is. If she doesn't care, I'll just put on one of my playlists and then offer her a drink and then just talk and slowly escalate. That's really the game plan, like 99% of the time.
The best advice I could give on this is follow my buddy Art Marrow on Instagram. It's ARTMARROW. And dude, this guy has fucking everything. But I'll tell you the stuff that I use. So anything that's sports stuff, alcohol, weed, any kind of drugs they like, projector to put on anything that you want to watch, alcohol, or sorry, I already mentioned that, masks, Nerf guns, musical instruments, piano, guitar, photography lights, camera, hookah, DJ set, smoothies, juicer, cooking, video game console for like a party game like Smash Brothers, virtual reality, putting a girl in virtual reality, you'll always get a great reaction. Poker set, chess set, Twister, Cards Against Humanity, dog. I wouldn't actually recommend chess. I played chess with a girl last night and a girl I went on a date with a couple weeks ago, but it puts you in a logical headspace. So I wouldn't actually recommend that. But
yeah, the virtual reality thing is interesting. I've never tried that.
You never tried what?
Virtual reality thing.
Oh, dude, it's pretty nice. And then dog or any kind of animal. Even if you want to get like a really low investment animal, get a rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, these are all good suggestions. I mean, like me personally, my style is always to keep things literally as simple as possible. My dates are so fucking boring. I do the same type of date. It's either straight to the house wine date or a bar nearby. Those are the only kinds of dates I ever do. Like, there's no like excitement in my dates. I save all like the activity dates and like all the stuff that I want to do for after we smash, like for like the second, third date. But the first date, like,
go ahead.
now, like the first date, I just keep things as simple as possible to like reduce any outside factors.
Once you bang the girl, you can like essentially relax around her and do anything.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
A huge mistake guys make is they'll meet up with a girl, but like at a park. And I'm like, do you not understand how that sounds kind of creepy? Like, you're a guy that could kill a girl, and you're basically like, meet me at the park at an undisclosed location of the park. We don't need to get a specific location. I'll find you.
just wear the purple skirt. Yeah. Again, like I think guys should keep it as simple as possible. Another mistake guys I think make is they meet halfway, or they meet at a bar near her place. I think that's a giant mistake. I will meet a girl straight at her place, or I'll meet her straight at my place, or I'll meet her at a bar near my place. But I think meeting halfway is a big mistake because it's just like you're not close to anyone's place.
The one caveat it would be if the girl's like extremely far, like 3 hours away.
Yeah, but I feel like it also like I think a big issue guys have is they get too hung up on chicks. If there's a chick who's 3 hour away, there's a chick.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh my god, I hate shit. They're like, oh, so this girl, dude, that's a scarcity issue. So this girl, dude, I had a guy in my program, like, oh, this girl in Portugal, like we've been talking for a long time, and like, oh god, they're like, so is she coming to the U.S.? No, not anytime soon. Are you going to Portugal? No, but it's just I gotta keep it going. It's like, dude, you realize you can meet a girl that lives in with like 1 mile radius of where you live and just bang her. And also, what happens if you bang the girl from Portugal and she goes back to Portugal again? Then what are you going to do? Just see each other once every 6 months? It just doesn't make any fucking sense. Dude, guys in scarcity are more illogical than women. Like, straight up.
Yeah. I think, I had a client actually recently also. And if he's watching this, I'm not making fun of you, man. Like, I can sympathize because I was sort of where you are like 10 years ago. But his whole thing was he hasn't really done any game in the last 2 years. Since he's been single. So he hasn't been doing dating apps. He basically hasn't had sex in like 2 years. And one chick who he works with, who actually kind of likes him, like I went through the text interactions, and she's definitely into him, right? He's been texting her for a year. They haven't gone on a date yet. It's just been a year of texting. And he tried to move things forward, and she gave him the corona objection. Like, yeah, I'm just a little nervous. And then when she gave him that, instead of handling it, he just completely dropped the meetup and just kept bantering. And so they've been bantering for like a year. And he asked me for advice. I'm like, dude, we got to move things forward. We got to deal with the corona objection and get the date. He's like, yeah, or I can just give it a few more months. Like, dude, you've already given it a year. He's like, but maybe over the summer it'll be easier. Or maybe she'll be fucking married by then. Like, no, like let's deal.
Yeah, bang a guy who's closer in her city. Dude, one thing that I'd recommend everyone listening to this go find out. They're called biases and logical fallacies. Mm-hmm. These things, if you don't understand what they are, you'll be fucking spinning your wheels for years of your life. Like the one bias that guy is doing is called the sunk cost fallacy. It's basically I invested so much time already, so I got to go through with it. Mm-hmm. It's like it's a mind trick that is being played on you. As opposed to
gamblers do that in Vegas when they've lost money.
Meet girls in my own city, and then you'll find that it's a lot easier to meet up.
But I think also a lot of it is playing not to lose instead of playing to win. Because if he tries to go for the date, on the day he might close or he might not, but he has a legitimate shot of losing, right? But he also has a legitimate shot of winning. If he just keeps texting her, she's been responding for a year, chances are she'll keep responding, so you can't really lose, but he also can't really win.
Yep. There's a great documentary on this. I'd recommend to you, Alex, too. It's called Liberated, the New Sexual Revolution. And if you just look at the way these guys like interact with girls, it's like it's direct, it's sexual, and they're willing to get rejected and move on to the next girl. And that's what a lot of guys don't do. A lot of guys, they get stuck in the kind of safety that comes with just being bland. But ultimately, what's safe is not safe because you're not going to get the fucking girl. And then when you do a little bit more risky stuff, or in your mind, what is risky, it ends up being safer because you end up getting the girl you want.
You're right. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think you have to be at all times willing to fail and like not be afraid of losing. Girl keeps ghosting my text, but friendly in person. How do I call her out? It's an interesting question. I've had questions like this, and I've had stuff like this happen too. Actually, my neighbor, I had this hot neighbor and got her number one day in the lobby, and every time I would run into her, she'd be like super flirty. And like I can tell the difference between her humoring me and being into me. She was like legitimately into me. Like she would have like these puppy eyes and shit, but over text, she would just like give me like one-word answers and just like randomly drop off. So this does happen. I don't know. What would be your advice in a situation like that?
So it depends on the context. Is she ghosting him because why? Like sometimes, and another thing is like ghosting or one-word responses. Sometimes it could be the way you're talking to the girl. Do you know about the spectrum of girls that are basically just kind of lovey-dovey types, and then the other side of that is girls that are super validation chasing girls?
Yeah, archetypes, yeah.
So like one example would be this French girl I met. I would try to message her to get her out. It's just one-word responses. I was just doing normal kind of game. And then I realized you know what? I kind of like you, there's nothing to lose here. Let me just fucking try it. Cause otherwise she's just I'm leaving the country and I'm going back to Canada. So she said she took a nap and I'm like, yeah, my grandma fucking naps a lot. And then she responded to that. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? And then I love this. I forget who said this, but it was like, you can turn fuck off to fucking you basically. But if you're bland, you can't turn that energy into anything really. So it's like get her kind of spice up the interaction a little bit by throwing some of those teasing lines out there. And then she ended up inviting me out. And yeah, that was actually the first time I schmeeshed in a bathroom at a club, which I don't recommend. It's kind of not the best, but
dude, one of my favorite stories. Are you good? One of my favorite stories is this was when I first got into Tinder, and I had this 50 Shades of Grey style bio, which you could do at the time. Now that shit gets you banned, but my bio was very explicit. I had one girl match with me, and she's like, I just matched with you to tell you how offended I am by your bio. This is horrible. Does this actually? So I was like, oh, thanks, mom. She's like, does this ever actually work for you? And I didn't have much going on that night, so I was like, call me and I'll tell you. She's like, okay. So she calls me, and within 20 minutes, she gave me her address so I could come over. And so it's just the craziest turnaround. And then I go to her place.
That's the funniest comeback text. You're breaking my heart. Sorry, mom.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at the comebacks. But so then I go to her place, and it's the craziest setup. So it's a sober living facility, but whoever is supposed to be watching them has been gone for a week, and they're all just getting wasted. So it's a bunch of ex-alcoholics getting wasted in a sober living facility. And so I was like, the fuck is going on here? But so they were all partying and shit. So it's definitely an interesting story.
I guess I'll wrap this point up with saying she may be friendly in person, but can you tell if she's actually attracted to you? Friendliness is different than being attracted to you. So that's one thing. She just may not be that into you. And another thing I would suggest is this is one reason I do like to get Instagram. If I have long interactions, I get number and Instagram, because girls that are lukewarm leads, and leads means a girl that's kind of interested. It's a sales term. So if a girl's a lukewarm lead, she's kind of into you, but not that really. And then you drop her in the Instagram funnel, she can get more and more attractive provided you have your Instagram set up. And then those lukewarm leads can turn into hot leads, because not every girl is equal amount of horniness throughout the month, right? Some girls get really horny before their period, or while they have their period, or afterward. They have different kind of response to that. So a girl that may be kind of lukewarm on 1 week, it could be 3 weeks later be totally into you. But those are a couple of the things that you could keep in mind with that. Also, your texting may just suck, in which case you're looking at the guy that can help it. So
yeah, I mean, I think also not every girl, to add on that, not every girl is equally attracted to you. I recently, a month ago, I had a situation where I hooked up with this girl, and afterwards she told me, she's like, honestly, can I tell you something and you won't get mad? I'm like, yeah, sure. She's like, honestly, you're not really my type, the type of guy I go for. She's like, I honestly only started talking to you initially because I thought your dog was really cute. And then I just kind of kept going with it. She's like, I had no intention of hooking up with you when we met up. She's like, but you were really funny. And then when you started kissing me, I got horny. Like literally. So it's like, again, there's like different levels of attraction. Like, some chicks who I open, they're really into me. I'm their type. And they're like, you know what? I really want this guy. And some of them are like, he's okay. That's how they would describe me by the point.
A big trap a lot of guys fall into is that the girls that tell them that they don't like them, basically, they try to chase for that girl's validation. It's like a lot of times it can be best to just move on. Yeah, like there's this hip hop club in Toronto, and I meet these like really hot Persian girls. I guess they kind of look like Brazilian, but they're Persian. And I, chat to one and it's going well. She's kind of like, giggling and stuff. And at a certain point, she just turns to me and she's like, yeah, listen, you're pretty cool, but I only like black guys. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, we're outside of a hip hop club right now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I didn't start chasing. Like, no, I can be black.
I'm black where it counts.
I'm black from the waist up and Korean from the waist down.
All right, guys. So we just hit 100 likes. So we're going to take like 5-10 more minutes of questions. And then we're going to end this whole thing off by just reading like a few screenshots from our lay reports. So thank you guys for getting us to 100. All right. So let's see. Let's take like 2 or 3 more questions. On dates, I feel like I'm always talking about the same stuff. Do you have any threads, discussions, or questions that you like to talk about on first dates? So I'm really not I really almost never do canned lines or routines or anything like that. I think that stuff is kind of cringe. One big advice, I think the mistake, and let me know your thoughts on this, but I think a mistake a lot of guys make is they talk about themselves way too much. Like at the end of my date, if I was on a 2-hour date, right? If the cops came up to the girl after the date and they said, this guy's actually a fugitive. He's wanted for being too awesome. His YouTube subscribers are getting too much pussy, and that's actually a crime nowadays. Can you tell us what you know about him? She wouldn't be able to really tell much about it. She'd be like, he's kind of funny. Okay, what does he do for work? I don't know. How long has he been in Miami for? I don't know. There's very little that I factually talk about myself. Almost never. I mean, if she asks me a question, I'll answer it. But a lot of it is just like, I call it the you frame and the we frame. So I'm just using a lot of we frame shit. So I'm talking about us as a group. I'm like saying like, yeah, look at us. We're going to be like that fucking couple who's just all over each other. Just a lot of like the we frame. And also I'm also like you, I'm very inquisitive. So I try to find something interesting in every person. So I try to this is like if a girl's a lawyer, I'll just ask her like a bunch of hypothetical questions. Like, what if you think your client is hot? Like, what if I was your client? Again, we frame now. And I came in, I was all seductive, and I was like, give me 10%. Like, I do a lot of shit like that, hypotheticals, but I don't really talk about myself that much. I think that
on what you're saying, to piggyback on what Alex is saying, like the girl last night, she was studying to be an accountant. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I could potentially hire you, but you have to go through the application process and then different points of the night, I'd be like, damn, this interview is not going too well. Like, I don't know if I'm going to hire you. And then we start getting a little bit more sexual. And she's like, I'll suck your dick for the job. And I'm like, well, how would you feel if you sucked my dick for the job and then I still didn't hire you? I'll bring up one of the things you said is kind of like a bubble of love. What are the other fucking terms for this, dude? But it's basically like that we frame. It's and I go into like marriage, dating, starting a business together, like anything that we could do together, traveling. And also another thing I bring up are topics that make people feel good. So for example, if I did the opposite and I go, so Alex, tell me about your recent family member that died. It's just like your mind's going to a more negative, dark place. I said, Alex, tell me the number one thing you love about Huskies. It brings your mind to a happy spot. You're laughing. You feel good. So things about travel, love, relationships, things she likes to do, music she likes, her interests, her hobbies, things that really get her like going, right? Like, what are you passionate about, right? If you ask someone about their passions or specific things that they like to do and they get to rant, they'll rant and then they'll tell you that was the best conversation they ever had, even though you just kind of directed them toward positive topics that they like talking about.
And also an interesting thing is if let's say you have an hour date and you spend the whole time mainly telling her things about you, and then you go to pull, she might be like, yeah, I just don't feel like I know that much about you. Versus if she talks about herself, she'll feel like she knows you better. So it's not a logical thing; it's an emotional thing.
I have a video on this. It's called 5 Ways to Make a Girl Fall in Love with You, and it's all about shifting different things in the interaction. So about you and about her, emotional and kind of logical. Anyway.
A big thing I will add is, for the love of God, avoid politics. I actually find that with conservative girls, like Trump supporters, they're actually more cool. Like, I can make fun of them. Like, I'll always I remember I went on a date with this lawyer chick, and she was like a big Trump supporter, and I would be like, yeah, that's your biggest secret. You're a MAGA, and I just exaggerated. Like, you probably get off to Trump just talking about deporting Mexicans. Like, you like that, don't you, girl? Yeah, we're gonna make love to a Trump rally video, and I find that they're more cool with it. But I find that the really liberal girls are like, you can't even touch that topic. Like, they just get super triggered. Like, you can't be like, yeah, you like that Bernie? You like his fro? What are you talking about? Bernie's awesome. So you can't even approach that.
What, are you a Trump supporter? Oh my God.
Yeah. Where do you guys see yourself in 10 years? If you had $10 million, what would you do? Would you still coach clients? I'll let you start off with this one.
Where do I see myself in 10 years? I don't know, man. I don't know where I'll be next year, but I definitely do want to teach dating and self-development for as long as I can, If I had 10 million, I'd probably just do a bigger version of what I'm doing right now. I'd throw bigger events. I don't know. I'd do bigger concept videos. Yeah.
Dude, my answer is pretty much the same. In 10 years, I definitely see myself having some kind of a business, but I want to evolve PWF. One thing first of all, the next thing I want to do is I want to take PWF and start getting mainstream public figures on. I would love to get George Clooney on and have him break down his game, right? Because he's probably never even really, that's a question they never get asked. I would love to get on Joe Rogan and have him explain what made him a good, interviewer and podcaster. So I want to start doing those. Obviously, that's I'm still years away from that. So I want to do a lot of that. I love to do collab videos with Riley Reid and do skits and shit, and where we break down. There's so many things that I want to do that I can't do yet, right? Because I just don't have the brand for that yet. So a lot of that. If you had $10 million, would I still coach clients? I probably would not do one-on-one calls, to be honest, but I definitely would still keep PWF growing. I'll probably spend a lot of that money on growing PWF. So invest a lot of it in my business. Right now, we're developing, actually a preview for everyone. We're developing some AI that's going to be able to, so you're going to be able to upload a bunch of pictures, and then the AI, in theory, should be able to tell you which one is the best, which one is the second best. So if we can pull off this program, I think that's going to be a big game changer for our clients, right? So I would, if I had $10 million, I would just, instead of having one developer, I would get 10 developers, right? So I just spend a lot more. We're going to be doing a dating app at some point in the future, but that project's on the back burner because we don't have the capital for it yet. If I had $10 million, I could just make all these projects happen right now. And a shitload of stem cells. I would do stem cells once a month. That's really kind of my thought on that.
Yeah, I'm doing an AI as well for real in-person game. We can detect facial expressions and vocal tonality of the people you're talking to.
We do. We should talk about that offline and compare strategies.
All
right. How do I navigate cold approach in the era of Me Too and street harassment? I'm 24, facing huge anxiety issues around approaching women. My answer is don't think about it. I think it's an issue. It's an issue that guys in the red pill and pickup community extremely over exaggerate. If you look at statistics, yeah, sure. Do people get hit by drunk drivers? Yes. But should you not go out at night because you can get hit by a drunk driver? No. It's that type of thing, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just have a lawyer notarize her consent form before we have sex.
Yeah. No, but yeah.
But essentially just be more empathetic. One thing I do before I stick my pinor in her papaya, I basically I make sure she's really into it, right? And then I'll rub my dick on her pussy, and then I'll say, "Do you want me to fuck you?" Or I'll basically say "Yeah, I want to fuck you so bad. Do you want to fuck me?" And I'll basically get a yes before I stick it in. That's one thing I do.
One thing I do actually, I just realized I do the post-sex text. So after she leaves, half an hour, I send "that was so hot," and I want her to say, "Yeah, it was," because that's like, bam, you're set.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take one more question. I want to find a good one for me. Getting is easy, but it's never. I don't know. Is there anything that you want to talk about?
Not really.
I want to end it off on a really good question.
No.
I'm getting a lot of like. There's some people who just feel the need to use all caps, which I really don't understand.
Man, a lot of the times we don't teach dating advice; we just teach like common sense.
That's so true. That is so true. Okay, let's end it off on this question. I actually think it's a really interesting question that's going to require us to both be honest. Alex, Austen, what's your biggest critique of one another's game?
I haven't seen your game, so I don't fucking know. What's my critique of your text game? I'd say
in general, from what you've seen in my videos.
I don't know if this is you. I don't even know if it's you, but I feel like framing everything as straight to the house takes more time to frame straight to the house than it would if you just met a girl downstairs and like got a tea with her or ice cream and literally just took your elevator up.
Bro, you know I'm paleo. No ice cream for me. It would have to be like fucking beef kidney.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, we've never. That's funny because we've hung out multiple times, but we never actually did pick up together. I'm trying to think what would be my critique of your game. I would say that
my critique of my game.
I would say that the only critique I would have is I don't think you leverage online enough, but you still do online. So you're not like one of those cold approach coaches who's like anti-online because you've met multiple girls from online. So it's like
23.5% of the girls that I've met have been through online.
Bro, I thought it was only 23.2.
Well, that's where you're wrong, dude. And get your fucking facts straight and take notes next time.
I'll definitely be sure to do that. But yeah, like I don't know, like I watched a good amount of your infield, and like there's like nothing I can say from a strategy perspective where you're like wrong. And I think you and I actually have pretty similar styles. I don't think that we do anything radically different. So there's like some small, like minor differences that are largely irrelevant. So yeah, I mean, this may sound like a cop out, but it's really I just don't know what I could really critique you on.
Damn, put that as a testimonial.
Hell yeah, man. All right, let's. We promised the guys that we're gonna hit. Give them a if we hit 100 likes.
Oh yeah.
A readout. So let me find mine. I'm gonna try to just do the last cold approach girl or whatever. The problem is the last girl I hooked up with from cold approach a few weeks ago was the conversation was all in Spanish, so I don't know how relevant that's going to be.
Well, Alex, you know why I like cold approach more than online? Look at this. These are the text messages from the. Oh wait, I clicked back. I'm just covering the girl's name. Ooh. Literally, like the messages Austen, and then she goes, "Thanks for having us," smiley face, and then it's photos that we took after all of us banged, basically.
All of us?
Oh, my student banged his girl. Separate. Okay. Yeah, dude, foursomes with couples is not the best.
Where did you meet her? What venue was this?
This was outside of the Wood.
In Wynwood?
In Wynwood, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Wynwood's a good spot. All right, I got one. So this was the last girl that's in English. This was like recently. So this actually, I'm not going to go into all the screenshots because it's going to be kind of long. But basically, what was going on? I met her on Bumble. We were texting back and forth, and then we were texting on iMessage, and then I hit her up, and she's like, "Who is this?" I was like, "What do you mean? It's Alex." She's like, "Oh," she's like, "I don't know who this is," but apparently, so the story she told me is, and I don't know how the fuck is this even possible, that she got a new phone and somehow her iMessages have been going to another person. So for a week, it was someone else who was texting me as her. It was really bizarre. So this is kind of this point, and there's a lot of stuff on this. So it's going to get very repetitive. So I'm gonna get to the point where we get. She's like, but it was not me. It's the iCloud mixed up. Anyway, better here or from Bumble. I need to check what's wrong with my iMessage and iCloud. So she messaged me on WhatsApp at this point. I say, wait, so you're saying that wasn't you texting me, lol? Exactly. Well, that's you in your pictures, right? Because at this point, I'm kind of like skeeved out about the whole situation. I was doing some laundry when I was hearing my phone, so I just picked up. Yes, of course. Or, okay, I'm not going to say this text in 2021. Or are you secretly a 300-pound blank guy? It's me. I know we were speaking. And then she gives me like a bunch of laugh emojis saying, okay, good. Next time, FaceTime is better. So here is where I start moving things forward. I say, this will be a great story to tell the grandkids. Wait, we frame. You're something else. Yes, especially about the stranger at the line. Hey, I'm very tired. Let's plan. We meet maybe this week. Blah, blah, blah. I say, okay, buenos noches. Wait a few days. Message her, hola linda, hola lindo. What are you doing tomorrow night? Tomorrow, my niece wants to go to the Hard Rock Hotel. How old is she? 19. I say, party age. Says, lol, yes. I say, I guess our love will have to wait until another night then. Again, we frame our love, LOL. Then I wait like 4 or 5 days, re-engage with hola chica bonita, hola hermosa, which means, hey, handsome, how's it going? Here I say, this is in Spanish, but I'll just translate. It's going good. My mom is visiting, so I'm just showing her a good time. She says, very nice. So here's just some Spanish. Okay, so at this point, I say in Spanish, but we should get together sometime soon. When she says that thing about my mom, I say, yes, she says she can't wait to meet you. So again, just like humor and role play. And then she's like, haha. I say we should get together sometime soon, though. She says, obviously. I say, you free Wednesday or Thursday night? She says, Thursday. I say, perfect. Day before the date, I send her the Ryan Gosling meme. She just gives me 3 laughing emojis. I say, how's my favorite Colombiana? Pretty good. And you? Where's my mother-in-law? And how are you, of course? I say, oh, fuck, I just got kicked out of this. Hang on 1 second. I accidentally clicked on an incoming message. Hang on 1 second.
Damn, playa.
Well, this is okay. There we go. So, how's my favorite Colombia? How's your mother-in-law? I'm like, she's great. She says she can't wait to meet you. I know. So, more of the we frame. It's also, this is what I call a soft confirmation. So, like, pretty good. Just finished a workout, looking nice and fit for our date. I'm confirming the date without actually saying, hey, still good for tomorrow. I like to do a lot of those. Speaking of which, pick out a cute outfit for tomorrow yet. So this is another soft confirmation. She says, where are we going so I can pick out my outfit? I say, my romantic balcony. She says, I don't need much effort then. I say, nice and easy. She says, show me, how is that? So we're not going anywhere. I say, nah, we can just drink wine on my balcony overlooking the city. And she says, so I guess you have a great view. See, chica. So I guess you are picking me up as a gentleman, right? I say, picking you up. She's like, yes, obvious. So she was like, English was her second language. So here I throw in some humor. I've been working out. You seem light, so yes, I can pick her up. And I send her one of these emojis. She says, okay, sounds great. What time? House 9:30. Sounds good to me. Perfect. Day of the date. Hola linda. Hola bello. Still good for tonight. Yes. Perfect. My address is blank. Who picked me up? So she actually legitimately wanted a ride. I say, I'll get you an Uber. She says, okay. Where do you live? So she gives me her address. And then from there, it's just like, text me when you're ready. And then from there, it's just coordinating logistics. I get her an Uber. She comes over. She reverse catfished me. So, like most girls are like a point worse than their pictures. She was like a point hotter than her pictures. So I was like super excited when I saw her. She was like, that's just like fucking luscious, big titty, big booty Latina. We hook up. Really cool, really nice evening. Drive her home afterwards. So simple.
Yo, Alex, what are your favorite ways to confirm the date? I'll get one of mine is saying like, if we're meeting at 8, I'll message her like an hour ahead of time and be like, fuck, I literally can't do 8, but I can do 8:03.
What kind of responses do you get to that?
They'll usually go, oh, fuck, that sucks because I can only do 8:04. And I'll say,
That's actually pretty funny. I like that. I might steal that. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like I like J-Mo's text a lot. Gonna hop in the shower, text me when on the way. I use that all the time.
Yeah, the best thing is like assumptive, right? You assume that you're meeting up, not like, are we still meeting up later?
I like to do multiple, but I like to do the day of the date. I like to get the conversation started. So I never want to just be like, hey, still good for tonight, or what time are you free tonight? I want to, hola linda, Ryan Gosling meme. I want to get the conversation started. And then often I will like to confirm. I like to say, hey, still good for tonight, or what time are you free tonight? Something like that. I do want to get her buy-in. You can make the argument that's not like the best play. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that. But for me, it's like a big thing is I prioritize because I just have like a lot of options. I prioritize my time above everything. So I'd rather like 20% decrease my whatever amount of dates, but not waste my time. So that's just like different priorities. But anyway, so yeah, so then hey, so good friend, cool. Then at that point, confirm the date. And then I like to use John's text like 30 minutes before, gonna hop in the shower, text me when on the way. And I never, like, if it's a public date, I don't leave my apartment until she tells me that she's on the way. That's like a hard rule I have. And I always like try to, like, I don't want to get there 20 minutes early. And again, just because like I find myself that I don't have that much time. So I always wait until she's on the way before I leave my place.
Especially if you're in Latin America. One thing you can do,
Yeah, definitely in Latin America.
They have the feature like in tiempo real. It's like in real time, so that she can send her location, like so you can see where she's coming.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Another thing I'll do it in Latin America is I'll have her taxi come to my place, and then I go downstairs, get in the taxi, and we'll go to like the date or whatever if we're doing a date. And yeah, or Uber, because you can see their vagina in real time as it comes closer to you.
That's funny. All right, so what's your recent text interaction, sir?
Oh, okay. So I guess I'll read. Man, you want to do like a longer one, dude? That's
no. It doesn't have to be a longer one. Just anything, so guys can get like a feel for your texting.
So yeah, I love sending girls carnalcalibration.com. It's like it's a thing you can see like the things that you're both into sexually.
Oh, dude, can you send me the link for that? I want to start doing that. I remember you said that last time.
So carnal calibration, and then I'll send it to her. And what did I say in the voice message?
So this quiz is for everything you're into. And so I'm going to fill out my side, and this link is for your side. And then at the end, basically it shows us the things that we both like.
Yeah, so that way if you like pissing in a girl's mouth, like it doesn't, and she doesn't, it's not going to show up there and be like, Austen likes that, but you don't.
But everyone likes that, so.
Yeah. She says, ooh, a quiz. I suppose I'll take it. I didn't listen to your thing yet. I'm in an Uber talking with the driver. Said, you're good at quizzes. She says, all of my answers are going to be like, if your partner wants, LOL. I'm mostly down for whatever you like. And I put a asterisk, make small talk while selecting yes for spanking, because she was on the Uber on the way to see me. Haha, yes to that. And then we started sending each other pictures of that. Actually, you know what? Let me back up. I guess it's more instructive to talk about the stuff meeting up for the first date, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that the link thing, I think that's actually pretty genius. I think that's quite good. It's such an easy way to sexualize without like coming off as like too. Like,
yeah, that's a second thing. I don't think you should talk. It's something that's best left for in person when you're talking about your kinks and stuff before you've met the girl. But any girl you bang, you can just send this to her straight away. And another way is just have the conversation with her afterward. But sometimes girls are afraid to like bring, people in general are afraid that they're going to be like reject or like just not accept their kinks. So it's a good way. So say, hey, blank, it's Austen. She goes, hi, Austen, with 3 N's. Dude, I love when girls type with like extra letters. Oof. It's like you can sense the they're over through the phone. Okay. I said, I got a quick question. Can I call you? She says, I'm on FaceTime with my family right now. I said, add me, JK. She goes, ha, 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 ha. I say,
be like, Mom, Dad, I'd like you to meet Austen, a guy who I've yet to meet yet.
And she's like, I'll listen when I'm off FaceTime. Then she says, haha, just listened. I said, oh, so what are your plans this weekend? She says, with some friends right now, I'll probably just be chilling this weekend. Nothing crazy, maybe studying since I have a big exam Monday and a big paper Tuesday. We'll see. Haha, what about you? And then I sent an audio message. I don't know what it said, but she says, oh, pretty Athena, send pics. And yes, I'm down to hang, smiley face. I said, sweet, good luck on your exam, smarty pants. And then I said, this is my favorite meme. So I send this. It says, this hedgehog is cheering for you because you can do anything. And it's like a hedgehog using its fist. She goes, thank you, with 2 like the cute eyes, like the
Mm-hmm.
like submissive eyes. And I go, did you make that exam your bitch or what? And she says, and she goes, I'm the bitch. And I said, oh no, what happened? She said, the class average was a 63. I said, sounds like your professor is the bitch then. Haha. Good luck in your paper. She says, eek, thank you. This should be easier. Said, hopefully your school stuff is done so we can go on adventures. I'm flexible today and tomorrow, but this weekend I'll be really busy. What about you? Because I'm coaching boot camp. Super busy tomorrow, kind of busy this weekend. I said, technically you're flexible every day since you're a gymnast. Wink. I said, how's today looking? She says, ha 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 ha. And what time? Also, what do you want to do?
Yeah, so I'm kind of torn because there's so many cool things to do here. But here's what I'm thinking. I haven't got sushi in a while. So we could get some good sushi. We could walk the Princess Athena at the park. And then around sunset, we can go to, there's a jacuzzi here on the rooftop, which is really cool. How's that sound?
So she says, last call of my day ends at 4 p.m., so anytime after that. She says in quotes, the Princess Athena, haha, I love that. She says, eek, I'm in a class right now and I can't talk. I said, finally heard your voice on the answering machine, though. So cute. Like heart eyes around the face or hearts around the face. Haha. She says, ew, I hate it. I said, shush. It's nice. And she did a vomit emoji because she hates her voice, I guess. LOL. So I was wondering.
One quick question. So did you just called her out of the blue, or what was was she referencing?
Maybe I did. Yeah. I don't recommend calling out of the blue. I recommend saying like, hey, is it cool if I give you a quick call?
Yeah.
And then I like that because I get rid of a lot of the logistics stuff back and forth that takes forever in like 5 minutes. And she says, so I said, LOL, so I was wondering if you have a car, or I should get you an Uber. I can reserve a spot for you if you do. And keep in mind that this girl's like super hot. Like this is, I don't know. Her body is like pornographic. That's how I could describe it. I said, I can reserve a spot for you if you do. So the whole time, it's like there's a chance that it's going to happen, but I'm just like assuming, right? The constant assumptions.
Right. And this is Tinder, Bumble, or which app is this?
It's just Tinder.
Okay.
She says, my car is back home in Kansas, 1,500 miles away. Haha. I said, convenient. I'll call you an Uber then. She says, where are you again? Miami? I said, yeah, Edgewater, Miami. And then I sent a picture. I think that's one area of my game that I think other people could learn from is I'm always using pictures to like pictures tells 1,000 words. I send like a 6 shot off of my balcony. This is literally favorited in my phone, so I can find that in 2 seconds.
100% agreed. I do that with cute pictures of Rhaegar all the time. I have a picture of him looking upset, and whenever a girl is like doing something I don't like, Rhaegar's displeased. I have a picture of him looking excited. Rhaegar can't wait to meet you. I have just a picture of him looking cute. So yeah, I have like variations of him just saved on my phone.
I sent her the picture. She says, oh my God, pretty. Was just wondering, haha, the Uber may be pricey though. I said, maybe. Oh, so this is an issue that comes up a lot. Girls, like, they don't have the money to come see you, but you're just like, okay, I'll just Uber you then. They're going to go, oh, but I don't want you to pay for it. So what I say is, I said, maybe, but I think you're worth it. I can also write off transportation in my LLC. So it's kind of like free. So it's like, it's not a downside for me, but yeah. And then she sent the cute eye emoji because she responded. She likes like cute shit. So I said like maybe but I think you're worth it. She's like, ooh. She said, what if Athena hates me? I said,
if Athena hates you, then I'll divorce you and I'll keep the kids and you can have the house. How's that sound?
She said, gotcha. And then I said that she likes everyone. She said, gotcha, made me feel better. Never had a dog hate me, but I was nervous she would. I said, well, you better be on your best behavior. And if you dress nice, she'll respect you more. She's a bit of a fashionista. Oh, really? I'll keep that in mind, haha. She said, sorry for the reply. I'm getting my nails done. And I was like, I responded to that. I said, you're adorable. And she did another cute eye emoji thing. And I said, I'm excited. Us meeting took 3 months to happen. Hashtag efficiency. Because she was like in Oklahoma or whatever.
Right.
And she says, well, I was back from November 22nd to January 8th, which I had no idea about. So I put in asterisks, hops in time machine. And she just replies with a skull emoji, like dead. She's laughing. Let me know when you're ready to head down. My last client rescheduled, so I'm free for sushi whenever. Okay, I suppose I should bring a backpack with a swimsuit and towel, right, for the jacuzzi. I said, yes, ma'am, solid planning. She says, I suppose I'll finish or at least start an assignment. Then I can come. I said, perfect. I'll do the same. She says, you have assignments? And then I said, no, but I can always do work because I'm an entrepreneur. She says, ooh, gotcha. I'm in school, so no flexibility, blah, blah, blah. It'll pay off in the long term when you're a rocket. And I said, it'll pay off in the long term when you're a rocket brain surgeon engineer. And she replied, I do, for whatever reason, this makes you fucking laugh. When they do the eyes, you know, like the eyes and the lips together. I said, that face always gets me. Is it adventure time yet? Almost. Said, no worries, take your time. And I think that's really important to say, like, take your time, right? So she doesn't feel
Yeah,
pressured.
I like to say no rush.
Yeah, no rush, take your time. Okay, sorry, kind of struggling in this class. I'm trying fast. I'll be ready soon. Cool. And she says, yay, you're not like a serial killer or anything, right? Dude, this is like such a common objection.
Very.
I said,
So let me just say one thing real quick. So I think it's important to discern between concerns and objections. So this is very like, and I think that we're just defining the word differently. But this is like a concern. Objection is like, hey, I'm not coming over because you could be a serial killer. That's like an objection.
And she said, you're not a serial killer or anything, right? I said, only on Fridays, so you're good. She does the face, the eyes, and the lips again. I said, let me know where I should call the Uber. And
Did you get that from that movie with James Franco, the one where he 128 hours?
Is that what he said?
Yeah, the girls are like, you're not a serial killer, are you? He's like, only on weekends, so you guys are good.
I didn't know. But that is a good movie, 27 hours.
I love that movie.
Whatever. I was like, cool, what's the Addy? She sends her address, 1 sec, get the Uber. And I said, we're finally doing it. No time machine needed. Yeah. And then we meet up. And so we met up here. We got food. And she was like really stressed out when she was meeting me. I don't know why, but she was like anxious, I could tell. So the whole thing changed her mood, not her mind. I got into a good state myself, cracking jokes. And then she loosened up. We went upstairs to drop off her things. She met Athena. Athena loved her. I have her like get into her swimsuit. We go down to the sauna. Then we hit the jacuzzi. And in the jacuzzi, I'm being a little bit more physical. I have her sit on my lap. We go into the pool, which is right next to the jacuzzi. You've been there. And then we're swimming around. And I basically just have like her legs around me, and we're just like making out a little bit in the pool. And then I bring her upstairs, and like after a pool and jacuzzi, you'll like need a shower because the chlorine on your fucking skin. So I'm like, luckily I have a bath and a shower. So yeah, like we should go shower off. And then I get upstairs and then I'm like, how should I do this? And I basically I was like, okay, I'm going to shower naked, but you don't need to shower naked. So I take off my pants and then she just takes off her clothes and we're in the shower and there's like so much sexual tension. And something about postponing it. Right. So I love just like, I'm not like playing with her tits or anything. I'm just like looking at her eyes. And I literally told her, I'm like, this is the ultimate challenge of like eye contact. It's like this girl just triple D tits on like a small frame Asian girl.
I like that. I like that.
And I'm like, this is the ultimate test of eye contact. No, we're in there, and then basically she, I put her hand on my dick, and then we start like making out and stuff. And then I'm like, okay, I'm taking you onto my bed. So we start fucking, dude. Yeah, it's epic. And she has like a huge daddy kink. And dude, the funny thing is, I brought up the kinks in the sauna. And I'm like, what are your kinks? She's like, well, you tell me first. I'm like, okay, I guess one of them is I like to be like called daddy and stuff. And she's like, ew. And then when we're fucking, she goes, thank you for fucking me, daddy. Thank you for fucking me. I'm like, I hit her in the face and I'm like, you say that louder. And she's like, thank you for fucking me, daddy.
Ooh, I like that. Do you ever do possessiveness? Like one big thing I like to do is like, whose pussy is this? It's daddy's pussy. Yeah, damn right. No one else gets to fuck this pussy. No one else, daddy, just you. I don't know why.
Oh, and then the text I have with her now, like to meet up, because she really likes bondage stuff too. I said, I got you. I said, I love this text. So it's if you haven't been texting well, you say, sorry, I've been a bad texter. I'm working hard so we can have the house with the ocean view, the picket fence, and the 2.5 kids.
And I think a big thing that you did in this interaction was leveraging voice memos, which I think are really big. Yeah. I'm a big fan of voice memos. I think they really make you stand out because most guys, they're either going to call a girl or they're going to text. Not a lot of guys use voice memos.
Another thing too, on messages and WhatsApp and pretty much everywhere voice messages are, it takes up like one line of text, but it communicates so much. It communicates your intent, your voice. She can get called back to like what you sounded like in the interaction, kind of feel those emotions again. And also, in terms of investment, she looks back, she sees one line. She has to reply to that with like 4 lines, basically. So if she looks back, it's almost like she's investing more, even though she's not. Anyway, I said, I also ordered you something. She smirks. Lewis, I'm in a podcast, bro. I love you. I said, I ordered you something, smirk. She said, what'd you buy? And I just send her like rope and a
I have the same exact rope. That's funny.
Rope and then like handcuffs And she goes, "Ooh, you didn't have to." The fuck? I hate when it goes all the way to the top. Okay. "Oh my God, you didn't have to." Heart eyes. She hearted the photo. Said, "When are you down for another Miami adventure?" She says, "When are you free?" "Just scheduling, Monday, whatever." And
Once
I
you
said,
bang the girl, there's a lot less game required.
"Yeah. Okay,
Everything
Prince.
becomes
Daddy's looking forward to seeing you then. Yay, see you Monday, Daddy." That's it.
Ooh, good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm gonna need to see a picture of this girl offline. Yeah, I think this is a really good point to end it off at. So, all right, guys. So, Austin, if people want to follow your content, they want to support you, what should they do?
YouTube, Austin Summers. That's it.
Yeah, me and Austin actually have a competition going right now. Whoever hits 100,000 subs first has to pay $1,000. So don't give them too much support. No, I'm just kidding. If we both hit,
Subscribe from Alex and subscribe to my channel. I'll give you a portion. Of
you get free copy of the product. No, if we both hit 100,000 K within a year of each other, we don't have to pay anything. All right, guys. So, yeah, we kind of went for a while. I'm starting to lose my voice and my mind, but I think this was a dope podcast. We got a lot of value. Austin, always a pleasure, man. And so, quick announcement. Next podcast we have is going to be not this, but the following Monday. And we got Elliot Hulse coming on. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited to ask him a lot of interesting questions. We got some other good guests potentially lined up for the future. So a lot of good things, guys. And then we have a lot of videos coming out this week as well. So make sure you hit the subscribe button on my channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on Austin's channel. Austin is really one of the few people in this community that I think has legit game and is a guy who I can actually learn something from. I don't really feel that way about a lot of people. Actually, one of my favorite videos of yours is the I don't know if you saw this up, the Latina MILF start to finish infield. Do you still have that one?
Yeah, dude. Funny enough, that is no matter where you are in the world, where no matter where you are in the world, if you YouTube Latina MILF, that's the #1 video. Got that SEO, baby.
That SEO. Yeah, I mean that's a dope video. I think that's like if you want to really like understand in person like cold approach, like that video takes you all the way through. So check it out as well. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Until next time.
Boom.